have also been provided
But sir, the
tents.
tear gas happened much later. It happened on the 20th. Before that, when people were sitting in dharna, all the political parties were going there and meeting Sonam Wangchuk. Now you've got students, ordinary students, not even some celebrity. You've got ordinary. 2 girls and 2 boys are sitting on a hunger strike for the last 3 days. Why can't you go and share the stage with them? Why can't you go and ask them how they are?
Definitely, and it is a responsibility of the ruling government as well, that they have to listen to the students and they have to solve their problems. The problem is, the people are asking, you asked, why isn't the Samajwadi Party going to Ranchi or Jharkhand? But my question is, why is the Home Minister, the Honorable Home Minister, is not coming and showing his face in the Parliament? He has to answer.
So that is the problem. When you answer questions with whataboutery, that is when your intent is brought into question. The first question from this young lady. Go on.
Actually, ma'am, the problem is that Jantar Mantar पे protest इनका नीट का protest का था. So NT is not a statutory body, but in the Jharkhand the conflict is between Jharkhand Public Service Commission and JSSC, and JSSC is a statutory body, or Jharkhand Public Service Commission is a constitutional body. So nobody wants to come between the constitutional leaders. So nobody has the grudges to fight against this constitutional leaders and raise the questions against it. That's why the political parties are not reaching there. They were reaching there in the Jantar Mantar just because of this. Now they are not reaching there. This is, of course, ma'am, if they are the political party, if they believe in the democracy, they should go there. They should ask their demands.
Definitely, your question is absolutely valid, ma'am. Absolutely valid, and I'll convey your message to my seniors in the party.
हो गए, कब convey करेंगे? ये तो बड़ा धीरे-धीरे आप कबूतर से convey करवा रहे हैं क्या? Why do you need to wait for so long? Yes, young man, tell your name and then ask your question. Who's your question?
My question is to sir only. I'm Ronit Tiwari from Ramjas College. So, India is a pluralist society. You know, the government is pluralist. And if we see government in itself is a pressure group. So, right now the government is in power. There are some things that, you know, some governance failures have been witnessed. You are a political party, but you are also a pressure group which, you know, has a responsibility of reacting to something that has happened unjustly. So it is very legitimate for you to go there only. Or I want to ask a question to you. Is it a reason that you consider the people of Jharkhand or the Gen Z of Jharkhand as less politically responsible or less politically, you know, important for you? Is that the reason? I
think the people of Jharkhand and Bihar especially, you know, after that Uttar Pradesh, politically they are most aware people in the country.
No, sir,
you know.
They are very aware. They are not useful for you. Are they not important enough for you? Very simply, what this young man is saying is are the kids sitting, and a lot of them are tribals, by the way. Are they not important enough for you to go there?
Every citizen of the country, anywhere in country, be it Jharkhand or even Manipur for that matter, everyone is important.
Then why haven't you gone, sir? That is a simple question these people are asking.
It will be taken. It will be taken into consideration, and definitely Samajwadi Party will have a representative very soon there. I can assure you that.
हर्षवर्धन जी, वो सुबह आएगी.
समाजवादी पार्टी के प्रवक्ता ये कह रहे कि नहीं हम अपनी क्या कह रहे, सीनियर लीडरशिप को आपका मैसेज पहुंचा देंगे. अरे भैया, ये पनवजा ने ठीक कहा, वो कबूतर जाजा वाले अंदाज में भेज रहे हो क्या भाई? प्रेम
कॉमेडी शो नहीं है सर.
और नहीं कॉमेडी नहीं, बहुत सीरियस इशू है. और यहां जो थे ये सीजेपी, कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी, जिनको मैं बार बार उनके हिंदी नाम वाले से बोलता हूं कि तिलचट्टे, ये तिलचट्टे सीजीआई के कमेंट के बाद आए. ये नीट एग्जाम के पेपर पर नहीं आए थे. बेसिक डिफरेंस है. वहां के बच्चे अपनी लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं. ये बच्चे पता नहीं कहां से मोटिवेटेड हैं. वो हमारे साथ अभिजीत हैं, तो मैं बोलने का बहुत ऑथराइजेशन नहीं रखता हूं, वो बताएंगे अभी कहां से आ गए भाई अचानक. और वो जो लड़ाई लड़ रहे थे, सबको अचानक टाइफाइड हो गया. कमाल की बात है, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए नहीं होता है. कमाल की बात, टीवी चैनल्स को इंटरव्यू देते वक्त नहीं होता है. कमाल की बात है, जिनको गोदी मीडिया कहते थे उन्हीं स्टूडियो में कूद के इंटरव्यू करते हुए नहीं होता. लेकिन रांची नहीं जा सकते. और वो बच्चे, पता नहीं इनमें से कितने बच्चों को पता भी होगा, वो माड़ भात खाकर आंदोलन कर रहे हैं. वो दही नमक चावल खाकर आंदोलन कर रहे हैं. और विवेक साइलेस जी ने एक और फैक्ट चेक मैं कर दूं, सरकार ने तिरपाल लगाने की भी परमिशन नहीं दी थी. वो धूप में और बारिश में मूवमेंट उनका जो चल रहा था, उनका जो प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा था, तिरपाल लगाने की परमिशन नहीं.
In fact, many of them who spoke to us said, Huda Zariwala, that the tent which they had put up It collapsed under the weight of the torrential rain, and the government did not allow them to bring additional supplies in. That is what happened for the first 5 days when very few media had reached there. We have been speaking to those kids throughout. Why isn't the Cockroach Janata Party there? Today they did a press conference saying, we've done a brainstorming and we are going to go there in the next few days. Which few days? How long? How long is it going to take?
Well, Adab, Namaskar and Jai Hind to all your panelists and to you. At this point, I am very happy that the BJP is finally taking due cognizance of the students, and it is actually showing concern for the students. They did not do it at the time of the CJP in the initial stages. Of course, they had to bow down. Dharmendra Pradhan had to register his istifa, and all of that had to happen. But right now, the BJP is vociferously talking about the Jharkhand students, which is great. We are all in support of the Jharkhand students. Nobody wants them to suffer. But at the same time, why is the Bharatiya Janata Party selectively only talking about the students in Jharkhand? And my esteemed panelists mentioned
leave
here
the
that
BJP. Leave the
Corporate
BJP.
Janata
People
Party,
have
it
no
was-
hope of the BJP. They have hope
I'm
of the
happy that you
Cockroach
said
Janata
that.
Party.
Well-
They have hope of the Congress Party. Rahul Gandhi does press
Thank you.
conferences with all of Gen Z.
Right.
The Congress
And
is the
he
voice
is-
of Gen Z. Why isn't the Congress Party there? Why isn't Rahul Gandhi there?
Is Rahul Gandhi the Prime Minister of India? He's not. He's merely the leader of opposition.
Abhijit
right?
Iyer Mitra, he's not the Prime Minister.
And one
We're
thing,
pinning
and
all
one
of our
more
hopes
thing.
on him.
If you remember, the Bharatiya Janata Party had initially dismissed all of the CJP protests. They in fact failed to even consider them, legal protesters or people, students protesting under the Indian Constitution and all of that. It is a breath of fresh air to see that Bharatiya Janata Party is in fact taking interest.
Okay, very quickly,
in the
Abhijit,
Jharkhand
respond.
students.
Why all the onus on Rahul Gandhi? He's only the leader of opposition. The Prime Minister should take onus. And then I'll come to all the kids over here. Yes.
Before that, can I make a quick point? It is actually the right that raised the demand for Dharmendra Pradhan to go when the UGC snafu happened. Remember what had happened out there? First, a normal set of guidelines was issued. 2 weeks back later, that was withdrawn, and a new set of guidelines, which criminalized based on just mere suspicion, was introduced. That set off a full-on right-wing revolt, and there was the demand for Dharmendra Pradhan to be dismissed. Since then, it has not receded. Now, sorry,
after
can
the
I
20th
finish?
July
I'm sorry, I
debacle.
didn't
Yes,
interrupt you.
please,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Now, when we come to ma'am's point out here, Rahul Gandhi is doing something politically very smart. I never thought I'd say this, but he's doing something very smart, because remember, whom did Aam Aadmi Party undercut? Who did they rise undercut? It undercut the Congress in Punjab, it undercut the Congress in Delhi. They realized that this is a movement that was going to undercut them, which is why Rahul Gandhi paid no attention to it. In none of his tweets, in none of his, only one guy, I think Pawan Khera, went there. But other than that, nobody went there. They've played it politically very smart. He wanted a picture of him being dragged away. He got his picture. Imagine going to the Prime Minister's house.
Then
You
all the
think-
more reason for the Aam Aadmi Party to go to Ranchi, right? To pay them back in the same coin,
Now,
because it's a
here is the
Congress
issue.
JMM government over
Here
there.
is the issue, Padmaja. We are all hypocrites, right? None of us are shorn of hypocrisy. The problem is the CJP's
yourself.
hypocrisy is, madam, please don't get me started on
we can't
AAP.
be all hypocrites,
AAP
right?
has a monopoly on hypocrisy.
Absolutely not.
Big
Absolutely
time,
not.
big time.
That
big
may be
time.
your personal
We'll come to
opinion.
Saurav Das's finances
a lot
and
of
his
people beg to
connections with
differ.
AAP.
India begs to differ.
That's
The
a different
students beg to
matter.
differ.
Madam, you are not even in one state. You're in one state right
Doesn't
now. Please
matter.
don't talk about
Doesn't
India.
matter. Just the fact that Aam
Anyway.
Aadmi Party stood for the students.
Can
Rahul
I-
Gandhi ji is
excuse
standing
me,
for the
can I
Why aren't they
students.
finish?
standing with the students in Ranchi?
They
Again,
are.
If you're going
They
to
are.
keep making that
See,
claim.
But
they
the
are.
issue here, Padmaja,
They-
is
okay,
let him
their
finish.
hypocrisy is so astounding and in your face. It's not even funny. On day one, they're all down with typhoid. You know what typhoid does to the body? Your immune system is so badly compromised. He's saying everybody is down with typhoid while drinking Coca-Cola. Do you know the first thing they tell you not to do when you have typhoid is drink aerated drinks? Then there's a whole bottle of Amrut whiskey going in there. 5,500 rupees, a carton of it going in there.
Okay, come on, they're students.
Next day
They're
they're all
students.
coming out. They're all coming out. But they were down
The
with
right
typhoid.
to celebrate.
They have,
One
with-
of them
with
had typhoid, the rest did not.
No, he said
And the rest
everyone
were
was down.
celebrating.
He said everyone was down with typhoid.
And you can't target
Next
them. They're
day,
mere
next-
students.
Excuse me, why
They're
do you keep interrupting?
students.
I don't
They're
interrupt you.
students.
It's bad manners. You know
They're
that, right?
students. I
It's
know
bad
that. I'm
manners.
just
Good.
correcting you.
Good.
Okay,
Just one
fine.
second.
Let us
then
finish.
what
I want to
happens
bring
is-
in the students then, yes.
Then what happens is, they come out on the balcony like Romeo and Juliet. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou? And they have time for everything. Then they come out and do one after the other press conferences. They have time for that. They have time to go file a WAPA case against me. They have time for that. but they don't have time to go to Jharkhand.
Okay, so the hypocrisy is showing. Anyone who wants to ask a question, quickly put up your hands. But before that, ask your question, ma'am. But before that, I want to show you something very interesting. The Congress, at a time when students were sitting on dharna in Ranchi, their Jharkhand page put up a post. Now, you know that Rahul Gandhi has been doing a Chhatro ki Goonj across the country. On the 8th, it is set to happen in Prayagraj. You know what the Congress Jharkhand page did? They put up a post. What happened is that you know that on the 8th, the Congress is going to hold a Chhatro ki Goonj, its latest edition in Prayagraj. Now, the Congress Jharkhand page on Facebook decided to put up a post in support of not what's happening in Ranchi, literally a kilometer from where they are, but saying, let's rebuild India's education system, join Chhatro ki Goonj on the 8th of August in Prayagraj. What about those who are sitting right there? Yes, ma'am, go on.
Greetings to the panelist. My question is, from a very long time I've heard, sir, I've heard, ma'am, you are just blaming everything on the BJP. Isn't it the responsibility of the opposition also to take a stand for the students in Ranchi? अगर सिर्फ प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है तो आप लोग जंतर मंतर क्यों गए थे फिर?
May I answer that?
Also, ma'am, my question is to all the panelists. What I'm witnessing is all the nitpicking about non-intricate details about the protest. What I believe is everybody is trying to put the onus and blame on the lower strata of the institutions. When you are seeking institutional reforms, what I believe is political parties also comprise a part of it. And why do they not seek an institutional reform within themselves?
Ma'am, here opposition is doing selective politics, not collective politics. Opposition is doing selective politics, not collective politics, because where ruling states are there, they ignore, they where opposition states are there, they ignore that matter. But where ruling government are there, they highlighted that matters. That means from Kerala, lathi charge happened, water cannon happened, no one raised there. But Jantar Mantar, everyone. And same thing in Jharkhand is going on. No one go there.
And by the way, Huda Sariwala, yesterday the Congress and the BJP, leave the BJP, the Congress went and protested against the paper leaks that are happening in Punjab. They were water cannoned. Paper leaks are happening in Punjab. 6 of them have happened over the last several years. And the government there water cannoned. I thought you were all about the students' issues. Yes, go on. Ask your question.
So why can't we see the pattern over here? We always saw that first, even Jantar Mantar, they had a food strike, and that is what is happening here. So you said that यहाँ पे people are taking accountability, CBI सब कुछ कर रही है. So वहाँ पे you said कि वहाँ पे तो लाठी चार्ज कैनन हो गया. Are we waiting कि रांची में हो जाए? Then only we give attention to the students. उससे पहले can't we give attention and settle
बताइए
the
विवेक जी.
matter?
पहले विवेक जी बताएंगे then हुडा सरीवाला.
Is
किसका इंतजार कर रहे हैं आप? विवेक साइलस.
नहीं इंतजार किसी का नहीं है. वहाँ की जो सरकार है वो बिल्कुल संवेदनशील है. और वो ऐसी कोई घटना क्या हुई है वहाँ पर? क्या कोई लाठीचार्ज हुआ?
कल जो
क्या किसी स्टूडेंट को मारा गया है?
वहाँ जो मंत्री हैं,
क्या कोई वाटर कैनन चला है? क्या हुआ है वहाँ बताइए?
A minister there, Irfan Ansari, he said that ये क्या? Let me actually not quote him. Let's play out what he said. Let's listen to what Irfan Ansari said.
जो सांसद जीत कर गए हैं वहाँ पार्लियामेंट में, और भी तो भाजपा के सांसद हैं. उत्तर प्रदेश में पेपर लीक होता है तो उत्तर प्रदेश के सांसद लोग क्यों नहीं धरना दे रहे हैं पार्लियामेंट के पास? बिहार के सांसद लोग क्यों नहीं दे रहे हैं पार्लियामेंट के में धरना? बेवजह यहाँ नाटक किया जा रहा है. झारखंड की छवि को खराब की जा रही है. युवाओं को इस तरह से दिखाया जा रहा है गलत गलत वीडियो कि यहाँ ये हो रहा है, यहाँ हो रहा है. कुछ नहीं, यहाँ धरना है. हम युवाओं के साथ हैं. युवाओं के जो भी मांग है हम बात करेंगे और विकल्प के रास्ते हम लोग खुले रखे हैं.
बेवजह का नाटक. आपको झारखंड की छवि खराब होने की प्रॉब्लम है वहां पर कि यहाँ पर अगर वहां पर 500,000 बच्चे निकल कर आए हैं, यू आर मोर concerned about the image of Jharkhand rather than the future of the kids who are sitting there.
I think this was quite an irrelevant and absurd, statement.
Sir, he is a minister there.
I know he is a minister.
Do you know that in the last 24 hours, one minister said we have formed a committee of people who was going to talk to the students. Another minister said we have formed a committee to keep an eye on what is happening. How serious is the government? You're saying they're sensitive. How serious do you think the government is?
Let's talk about. I'll give you an example about Uttar Pradesh as well, ma'am.
Sir, give an example for Jharkhand
just before coming to Jharkhand, let me say. In Uttar Pradesh alone, 28,368 schools have been shut down by this government. 1 lakh students, 1 crore students are being deprived of primary education in Uttar Pradesh itself, and 21 paper leaks have been done in Uttar Pradesh since Yogi Adityanath's tenure.
So you will
for the
protest
last
only
year.
in Uttar Pradesh
No.
and Jantar Mantar.
Now let me come to Jharkhand.
Yes.
Whatever this gentleman has said, it's not that any person talking or stating from the opposition, we are going to support it. If something is wrong, it's wrong.
Where, sir? When will this
Where?
support happen?
Nahin, it
Sir,
will
it's
happen,
not.
man.
I believe it's not a Jharkhand versus UP question.
at all.
When it's about resources, we go to Jharkhand, but we deny and we fail to see how many students are suffering. What are the repercussions in terms of healthcare for students who are coming from tribal areas? That we dismiss.
Don't pit one state against another. Yes, that lady in red.
I have a simple point, like right from, today we are sitting at 12th day of the Jharkhand protest, right? And the CGP protest, it went for 34 days approximately. So these are two, uncomparable parameters, first thing. Next is, right from day one of the CGP protest, we had words like anti-nationalist, anarchs. Why are these words not being used against the students who are protesting right there at at the Jharkhand protest?
I think you should ask this question to the BJP
No,
supporters.
good point, good point.
They were the
Absolutely.
guys who
Abhijit,
initiated this. You know?
The difference is the difference.
Not heard
I
this
think
word
he should-
even a
हाँ.
single time against the students who are protesting at Jharkhand.
Yes, I think he's the right
Valid
man.
question. Thank you.
मुझे ये क्वेश्चन अगर वैलिड लग रहा है तो मैं इन्हीं बच्चों से पूछूंगा, झारखंड के बच्चे, एक बच्चे ने आज तक किसी के लिए एब्यूजिव लैंग्वेज का इस्तेमाल किया है? झारखंड के एक मिनट
Abusive language कब use हुई?
मेरी बात
selectively target
जब आपने वाटर कैनन चलाया, जब आपने लाठी चार्ज किया, जब आपने इलेक्ट्रिक
students were
ये
pellet guns were used. Pellet guns were used.
Huda, this is not fair. You cannot ambush one man. You cannot ambush one man. Let him finish. I will give that lady the right to respond. Yes.
सीजेपी का प्रोटेस्ट किसी नीट पेपर लीक के खिलाफ नहीं शुरू हुआ था। फैक्ट सबसे पहले सीजेपी, एक कमेंट आया सीजीआई का, उसके बाद ये आया, और जिस तरह से ये प्रोटेस्ट हुआ वो मैं आज तक कहता हूं कि वो इररिलेवेंट है, उसकी बात अभी नहीं करते। लेकिन बेसिक क्वेश्चन जो आपने पूछा, झारखंड का कोई भी बच्चा, क्या उनमें से किसी के ऊपर ये सवाल है कि वो कहां से आकर खड़े हो गए, कौन से स्टूडेंट हैं? वो वहीं के स्टूडेंट हैं, और उनमें से कोई भी, वो कह रहे हैं कि हेमंत सोरेन के खिलाफ भी मत बोलिए, हम उनको गाली नहीं दे सकते, वो हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं, हम व्यवस्था परिवर्तन कह रहे हैं, हम सिस्टम चेंज करना चाहते हैं। यहां क्या कह रहे थे? यहां नरेंद्र मोदी से लेकर पूरी सरकार को जो गालियां दी जा रही थी, मैं उसका जिक्र नहीं कर सकता हूं। यहां बाकायदा जिस तरह की फोर्सेज उसमें थी, और क्या अमृतसर पुलिस, वो तो आम आदमी
Circumstances अलग है यहाँ
सर,
पर।
गालियां
कोई
दी
violence नहीं
20
हुआ।
तारीख के बाद जब बच्चों पे लाठीचार्ज हुआ, पेलेट गन का यूज हुआ, उसके बाद गालियां निकली।
आईएसआई बैक टेरर
If he's going to
मॉड्यूल
mention
जो
ISI, then
अमृतसर
it's
पुलिस कह रही है।
Okay, wait.
अमृतसर पुलिस कह रही है।
Okay, wait.
belongs to
Abhijit responds. Abhijit responds. Then
Under
this
his
young
own
lady. Yes.
ministry.
Abhijit, then this young lady. Yes.
Can I just read out Saurav Das's tweet from the 13th of October 23? Chief 23. Saurav Das, the Chief Justice of Pakistan has said, we have seen what they have done to their constitution. I don't know what they are going to decide Article 370. Let us see the independence of the judiciary there. Then he adds, it's a long quote, the world is watching the Indian Supreme Court is an open, Article 370 is an open shut case, a grave assault on the Indian constitution.
What's your point?
The point is,
What about
this
the-
fellow doesn't sound anti-national to you.
Okay, I'd like to cover.
So you're
No,
saying
then
that
one second, I haven't finished. Arundhati Roy says that India's liberation of Goa is a colonialism. She says that India is a colonial oppressor in Kashmir. That doesn't sound anti-national to you.
May I come in? May I come in? Padmaja.
So
Just
I'm sorry,
selective
but
outing.
if you associate with a certain kind of people, the fundamental thing is that anti-national tag will be applied. to
Padmaja
you.
ji, I'd like to come
Huda.
in. See, honestly, you're not going to nitpick Saurabh Das or Arundhati Roy or any of these people and malign the protest. This was about the students. Students were literally hit with shock batons, pellet guns, all of
After they
that. Lathi
violated
charges. The
Section
world has seen it.
144.
Allow me to speak. Please don't heckle. Allow me to speak. At this point, I'd like to mention to the BJP, जब जुल्म के अंधेरों का जोर बढ़ता है, जब जुल्म के अंधेरों का जोर बढ़ता है, तब हक की सदा और बुलंद होती है। हर सर झुकाने से इज्जत नहीं मिलती, सर झुकाने से इज्जत नहीं मिलती, हक की खातिर उठना ही हिम्मत होती है। This हिम्मत was shown by all the students, entire India, entire world witnessed it. CJP stood for the right of the students. CJP stood for what is constitutional, which is right to dissent, right to protest. Now, if you're going to
Right to protest does not involve the right to riot.
malign the protest,
Announcing
stand
you're going
for
to
that
march
right
in
in
parliament and
Jharkhand
violate
also.
section
As far as
144
Jharkhand,
is
allow me
not
to
the
speak.
right to protest. No, it was
my
a,
brother,
it was
please
a
don't heckle. Please
calculated
don't heckle.
riot.
Please don't heckle.
They are
I did
rioters.
not heckle. Please don't
You did
heckle.
heckle. They
Please
are
manage.
rioters.
please maintain the decorum of the debate. Thank you.
They are rioters.
As far as the Jharkhand protest is concerned, the question should be asked by the BJP because they are the ones sitting in power at the center. As far as Jharkhand government is concerned, they did not. They are ready to talk to the students. They are not going to, water cannon, lathi charge, bait and shock them. The students are in conversation with the ministers out there, with the government out there. Number one. Number two, everybody supports the students in Jharkhand. It's not like the opposition is opposing the protest. It is not like the opposition is speaking against the Jharkhand students or even the.
Ma'am, you don't have to oppose a protest. Go on. You don't have to oppose a protest. You only have to show solidarity. Even in Jantar Mantar, it was never about opposing or agreeing with the protest. It was purely about showing solidarity.
One line, 30 seconds. बच्चों की नौकरियां बिक जा रही हैं, सरकार नौकरी बेच रही है और इस तरह से
और वहां पर बहुत
कमाल की बात है झारखंड और जंतर मंतर को उसका कोई कंपैरिजन है जंतर मंतर पे आए हुए लोग अमेरिका से उड़ के आते हैं कोई बैकग्राउंड नहीं पता है कुछ नहीं पता किसने
my question to the BJP is they will dismiss.
Sir, I have a question from you. You just said that CJP protest was irrelevant. Like जिस तरह वो आगे बढ़ा, it was irrelevant. Can you just list the facts? कि वो irrelevant कैसे था? The students were compelled to come on streets that are supposed to study in classrooms.
Bravo.
How was it irrelevant?
CJP प्रोटेस्ट अगर रेलिवेंट होता तो देश के किसी भी स्टूडेंट की प्रॉब्लम उनको अपनी प्रॉब्लम लगती है
सबको
सीजेपी ने इस एक सीजीआई के कमेंट का इस्तेमाल करके उसको एक गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ इस्तेमाल किया उसमें भी मुझे कोई इशू नहीं लेकिन क्या सीजेपी ने देश के किसी और हिस्से में स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जो इश्यूज थे उस पर कोई बात की जवाब है नहीं दीप के सौरभ दास राका ये एक तरह की अपनी पॉलिटिकल पोजीशनिंग कर रहे हैं ये पहले आम आदमी पार्टी के साथ थे इनको जो व्यूज हैं वो बहुत ही वो एंटी नेशनल तो मैं किसी को नहीं बोलता हूं लेकिन उनके जो व्यूज थे वो एक्सट्रीमिस्ट व्यूज थे
irrelevant supported the CJP. Come on.
CJP irrelevant. Right now they are irrelevant.
CJP irrelevant था तो इस्तीफा क्यों हुआ है? Sorry.
Sir, you are changing the statement. Earlier you said that it was irrelevant. अब आप कह रहे हो कि it is now irrelevant. Children are spending a significant amount of money for traveler for in travel and in accommodation due to these retests and जो इतने भी पेपर वापस हो रहे हैं and you are saying that it is irrelevant.
Brilliant.
Before anything, sir,
Again,
I would like to ask one question to you. Firstly, fact that are you considering CJP protest and student protest as synonymous? Because if you say that the protest was not relevant, you mean to say that all of the problems that were raised by the students are irrelevant, which then makes the situation altogether what you're saying irrelevant.
There are many layers in that protest. You all need to understand that. CJP जो कर रहा है वो उसका अपना पॉलिटिकल मोटिव है They are curated by some external forces. स्टूडेंट प्रोटेस्ट जेन्युइन है उनकी जितनी डिमांड है वो जेन्युइन है पेपर लीक जेन्युइन है उस पर होने वाली जो सरकार ने जो एक्शन लिया वो जेन्युइन है लेकिन आप सीजेपी को कह रहे हैं मैं फिर कह रहा हूं दे आर पॉलिटिकली curated by external forces.
Thank you for that. So you mean to say that the student protest is genuine, and I agree with that.
Yes.
One thing that we have to talk about today is that till the time CJP was doing protest over here, right, it was genuine and it was a student protest, right? Everybody was coming in support, be it the opposition whatsoever. Now, ma'am, that you sit here and say that we are talking about it and we are going to talk about it, we want that the CJP does also, if it has a popular movement, if it has our mass mobility, it should go there as well. That is also important.
It should go in Jharkhand as well.
It should go in Jharkhand
Simple
as well.
point. And not just in Jharkhand.
Agree.
Not just in Jharkhand. Because Huda Zariwala supports the Aam Aadmi Party. What about? And I think this is what we should also talk about. This outrage should be about what is happening in Punjab as well. If there are 6 paper leaks that have happened in the course of the last 3 years, it's all here.
And
the
Padmaja?
newspaper headlines are here.
But they are not ready to accept this leak.
Padmaja, play the visuals.
Question paper, 2 GNDU professors suspended. This happened in Punjab. These are all newspaper headlines.
Play the visuals of how Punjab police beat up the protesters.
Then you've got 2023 February, class 12 English exam. Punjab Minister Harjot Benz orders high-level probe into question paper leak. All of this is happening in Punjab. And when people are asking questions, कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी तो वहां भी नहीं गई, पंजाब भी नहीं गई, कम से कम कांग्रेस गई वहां पर, बीजेपी गई वहां पे. Yesterday there were water cannon in Chandigarh.
Okay.
Why?
तिलचट्टे कहीं नहीं जाएंगे पद्मजा, मैं बार-बार कह रहा हूं.
I believe the question was targeted
And here,
at me.
Punjab School Education Board exam. Here it is.
Okay. So
don't all of these students, and let's take a look. Let's take a look. And this is just a few examples here. 6 alleged paper leaks, pharmacy officers recruitment exam, PSSSB Group B officers exam 2025. Then you had the agriculture development officers exam in 2024, PSTET exam 2023. And you've had the PSEB Class 12 English exam 2023, नायब तहसीलदार एग्जाम 2022. जब से सरकार है हुडा जरीवाला, तब से पेपर लीक पे लीक, लीक पे लीक, इतने साल से हो रहे हैं. अभी जुलाई में there was another allegation of a paper being leaked. Why didn't the CJP go there?
So, you remember, we all remember Bhagwat Maan Saab clearly addressing the issue and actually confirming that there was in fact no paper leak whatsoever. Number one. And number two.
How is it confirming the issue when he said there is no
for the cases that paper leak was discovered?
The High Court,
or cheating, rather
the High
cheating
Court
was
said
discovered.
that
Swift action was taken, right? So that was a question of cheating, not a paper leak. It's a stark difference.
You're talking only about one that happened in July.
Exactly.
In the last 5 years, there have been 6 paper leaks, and many of them are sub judice, ma'am. The High Court is still investigating. And by the way, at a time when all of these investigations were happening in Punjab, Manish Sisodia came to Jantar Mantar and said, I will sack the education minister if anything has happened in Punjab.
Absolutely. So there's the action taken right then and there. And I'm
What
very
is
sure
that
that it will be taken into cognizance. At least this is a government that believes in accountability. Aam Aadmi Party has been delivering on education for the past 10 years.
Okay,
It is the one party that literally talks about education and does work on education. New York Times has mentioned the education model of Aam Aadmi Party. United Nations talks about the health model of Aam Aadmi
You can
Party.
take that clipping and frame it and put it up. Now can something be done about these repeated paper leaks? New York
Manish
Times का क्या
Sisodia
अचार
ji, in
डालेंगे
your
वो
own
बच्चे
words,
जब पेपर
mentioned-
लीक हो जाएगा? This
And
young
action
lady,
will
go
be
on.
taken. Action will be taken. We're sure of that.
Yes. Sir, let me repeat you one statement. Cockroach Janata Party is a political pressure group. It is not a political party. वो pressure group है, वो pressure बनाएगी sir. First thing तो ये है. और दूसरी बार इतनी leaks हुई हैं. आज नीट का लीक हुआ है, नीट का लीक पहले नहीं हुआ है. तो नीट का लीक पहले हुआ है. आज we are standing today, we are making it a big issue. That's why somebody is resigning. Why it is because okay, I agree. Cockroach Party आई थी एक comment से.
आपका सवाल क्या है?
So I am explaining the point as he is saying it's
Oh, you're
irrelevant.
explaining the point. अच्छा, कि कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी relevant क्यों है?
Relevant and it's more about that you can't just be like तिलचट्टे आए तिलचट्टे यहाँ नहीं जाएंगे वहाँ नहीं जाएंगे वो वहाँ यहाँ नहीं जा रहे
पर आपको लगता है
एक चीज तो कर रहे हैं वो कौन सी पार्टी कर रही है
Thank you.
नहीं,
कौन सी
बहुत अच्छी बात है. सीजेपी ने किया जंतर मंतर में, यू सपोर्ट देम, ग्रेट.
But
बट क्या उनका सपोर्ट बाकियों को भी मिलना
I'll
चाहिए?
criticize
नहीं,
also.
पद्मजा।
One phone call कि हमें टाइफाइड हो गया हम नहीं आ सकते is not enough for the people of Jharkhand. Is not enough for the people of Ranchi. One phone call is not enough for any student.
मैंने जो कहा वो ही आप भी कह रही है. सीजेपी जिस भी इशू से आई हो, जैसे भी आई हो, वो इशू बच्चों का इशू था. इस देश में लगभग हर स्टेट में हर परीक्षा, हर नौकरी, उसमें पेपर लीक हो जाता है. कहीं कोई रिक्रूटमेंट बिक जाता है, कहीं सरकारें बिक जाती हैं, कहीं पूरा का पूरा आयोग बिक जाता है. मेरा सवाल सिर्फ ये है कि अगर वो सचमुच प्रेशर ग्रुप है, ऑनेस्ट प्रेशर ग्रुप है, तो देश के किसी भी इशू पर उनको एक जैसी बात करनी चाहिए. लेकिन वो ऐसा करते नहीं दिख रहे हैं. ऐसा करते नहीं दिख रहे हैं. वो बेईमान लोग हैं. इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ तिलचट्टे कहीं नहीं जाएंगे.
Taken accountability. It is talking about transparency. It is talking about paper leaks. It is talking about the lives.
Ma'am, I have very simple question.
Let me make this simple. You cannot say that accountability in Jantar Mantar is a resignation and accountability in Punjab is we have taken cognizance.
Agree.
Accountability should be the same everywhere.
Agree.
What is sauce for Jantar
Agree.
Mantar is sauce for
So the
Jharkhand.
paper leak in
As simple
Punjab,
as that.
like you said, the matter is sub judice. Let the point be proven. Let the
अरे तो matter was sub judice in Jantar Mantar also.
Jantar Mantar students have committed suicide. A re-examination of which had to be conducted. That is proof enough. That is proof enough.
बच्चों का पेपर लीक हो जाए हम मानेंगे नहीं.
This is the example of the AAP education
It's
model.
not even about
Abhijit,
Jharkhand or even about Jantar Mantar. It is about the students.
Okay, Abhijit
The
and then this
students
young man.
and their families
Abhijit and
at
then
the
this
end
young
of the
man.
day.
Oh, Huda, just a
Anybody's
second.
standing with them.
You know,
Abhijit.
the notion that a suicide negates the sub judice nature of a thing is the classic example of the AAP education model. There are much bigger questions out here where nobody is answering. Why is there such a paucity of education? Today, parents will, and kids also, are so desperate they will commit suicide when exams don't go their way. It is such cutthroat competition, no child should have to endure it. But you have an education mafia in this country which has kept education artificially a scarce commodity, artificial supply scarcity. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody. Medical seats. Why? इतने सारे लोग हैं मेडिसिन करने वाले. Why does the medical council control the number of seats? Engineering इतने लोग करने वाले हैं. You want to control the number of seats? Humanities, where everybody goes when, you know, I couldn't get into engineering, I couldn't get into medicine.
So whom does
Nobody wants to talk about it.
Whom does the education department belong to? Who is responsible to take these steps? And education ka budget every year keeps going lower than before. We have such a low education budget.
Just a second. I want to come back to the student here. Yes, go on, young man. Yes.
I have a very simple question from all of you. Like the CJP and the opposition party don't join the student protest of Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, Punjab. Is this only because this state are मतलब वहाँ पे BJP government नहीं है?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
100%, bro.
I think
let me complete my question, ma'am. Let me complete. We all are happy with the resignation of the Mr. Pradhan, but what about the Bangairappa resignation? What about the Harjot Singh resignation? Please answer this question. Thank you.
Andhra, don't forget. The chief
And
minister
I
is
want
the
to
education.
point out that 2 weeks ago this question was asked on this very show. Madhu Bangarappa, when is he going to resign? Harjot Bens, when is he going to resign?
They are also
2 weeks
untouchable.
have passed and abhi tak cognizance ही चला जा रहा है.
So on this matter, I am definitely with the students, and the entire opposition stands with the student.
Chalo.
Right?
So accountability is standing with the students.
Matter
Vinay, tell
sub
us.
judice hai. Let it be
Accountability is
proven.
standing. There is no resignation, only accountability is standing.
Whether it is the Bharatiya Janata Party or it is the opposition ruled states.
Okay, this young gentleman.
So
Justice
first of all, to answer Tripathi sir, first of all, sir, be that as it may, sir, the use of pellet guns in our country is unprecedented, and that it has happened, but not in that large
They
scale.
don't say it's unprecedented.
So apologies, sir.
There is a threshold in which
You
pellet
use
guns
pellet
come.
guns against
Absolutely,
students.
it's legal.
it's
Shock
fine, it's fine.
patents.
Apologies, sir.
That's
It was
what used to
happened
happen
before.
in
It has
Kashmir.
happened before,
Because they
but
used to
not
come
at this
close and
level.
then-
Lathis
Now
attacking
let me
private
speak.
cars.
Knives into your
Of
Let me
course,
speak.
little
Let me
girls.
speak. Let me speak. The use of pellet guns is not having any guidelines. That is true. That is true, sir.
There are actually guidelines.
Sir, there are no. In the Supreme Court, the matter is going on. Even the
That is because it
Solicitor
wasn't
General said there has
represented
been no
properly, but
guidelines.
there are guidelines.
Sir, you are denying the Solicitor
How
General
is
at the
this
same time.
relevant to Jharkhand, my friend? Come to your question.
I'll
Yes.
come to that. Tripathi sir was vociferous.
छोड़ के सारी बात करेंगे.
No, sir, मैं झारखंड की
सारी बात
बात
उनको तो छोड़ दीजिए
Let him
त्रिपाठी
finish the
जी.
question.
झारखंड के पीछे क्या पड़ गए?
बात करेंगे.
Let's stick to the issue. What is your question?
Please, everyone shall also stick to the issue as well. The tender which was given, the company which was there at the Jharkhand state, right, it was not legal. The same issue arises in SSC as well. Right. Again, we are talking about politicization. Why are we not talking about structural reforms? Right. That is very important.
Yes. Do that.
Please,
I am with you.
No one is.
Do that.
But at the end, everyone is talking about political senses, which is not required here, ma'am. Please talk about how structural reforms in specific states can be done. Why and
You
what
are
your recommendations?
100% right, my friend. And here is the problem that when it comes, I was looking at a lot of timelines. Suddenly, when it is about Jharkhand, the same people who are saying Dharmendra Pradhan istifa do are saying सिस्टम की गड़बड़ी है. अब अचानक सबको सिस्टम याद आ रहा है, जहां पर आपको धर्मेंद्र प्रधान दिख रहे थे.
बात तो कर रहे हैं.
धर्मेंद्र प्रधान 5 साल में 3 नीट पेपर लीक करा दिए.
Why aren't you asking for the education
हर एक धर्मेंद्र
minister?
प्रधान का एक प्रहलाद जोशी जी आएंगे. मसला ये है. राइट. हमें स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस चाहिए. स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस बहुत जरूरी है.
Sorry, just give me 1 minute. I'll just quickly answer him. See, resignations are important. I'll tell you why. But there's a first step. Yeah, they're the first step because you have to create a deterrent. The next minister shouldn't think कि मैं आके बस मैं गद्दी पे बैठूंगा कुछ नहीं करूंगा. The problem is did you check the new education policy? I've been a big critic of it. You want to come up with problem solving teaching. Have you seen the caliber of teachers? You don't run a proper train the trainer program.
So who is to be blamed for that?
Finish, please.
Who is
Stop
to be
heckling.
blamed for that?
You constantly heckle.
Who is to be blamed
Irrespective.
for
Please
that?
stop.
I think the
Enough
question
now.
was directed to all.
No, enough.
No.
Wait,
You can't
I'm
shut me.
talking.
You
No.
cannot shut
Okay,
me.
one at a time, please. Abhijit,
Do
finish.
not
Yes.
heckle.
Now, There
Sir,
is the fundamental problem. We do not invest in human beings. We invest in buildings out
Agreed,
here.
sir, 100%.
Okay, you need a train the trainer program. But then look at the input phase. The input phase is based on standardized tests. There is no problem solving involved. You know, there is several newspapers have run articles about how 97% of Indian engineers
May I come in? He's been
cannot
speaking for a long
problem
time.
solve.
That's true.
You have a chronic
There is no
comprehension
critical
problem.
thinking. There is no
Zero
critical
thinking.
at all.
Zero
We need a policy
and
for that.
critical thinking is actively punished in this
So-
country.
But you know, the problem is we don't even address these
We don't
larger
address.
issues
No.
because
Agreed.
you go
Don't
for
address.
knee-jerk solutions. Right now, when it was about NEET, you said, let's get this resignation, and then that becomes a precedent.
So-
then every non-BJP government will be looked at
So, Padma
with
ji,
those same
just 30
standards.
seconds.
It's as simple
30
as that.
seconds.
That's where the politics comes
30
in.
seconds.
I want to come to this young man. Yes.
सर मेरा नाम साहिल है, मैं पत्रकारिता का विद्यार्थी हूं। सर, देश में जो चीज़ें पहले पत्रकारों के साथ होती थी कि टैग देना, वो प्रोटेस्टर्स के साथ हो रहा है। क्योंकि हम क्या ये मान ले देश में, मैं राजनीतिक लोगों से नहीं पूछूंगा सर, त्रिपाठी सर आपसे और अभिजीत सर आपसे मेरा प्रश्न
I'm an
है
international
कि
journalist. You can ask me as well.
क्या इस देश में ये मान लिया जाए कि सरकार कोई भी हो, पेपर कोई भी ढंग से नहीं करा सकता? क्योंकि आप उस प्रोटेस्टर्स के अंदर देखते हैं कि कांग्रेस कितनी है, भाजपा कितनी है, आप उसके अंदर दर्द देखिए ना, आप उसके अंदर देश देखिए कितना है। क्योंकि जब आप देश देखना शुरू करेंगे तब आपको महसूस होगा कि जब वो बाप अपनी बेटी को 400 किलोमीटर दूर पेपर ले जाने के लिए ले जाते हैं, चाहे वो कोई भी स्टेट हो, चाहे वो कहीं भी हो, वो दर्द बराबर है हर जगह। तो इसको राजनीति के चश्मे से हटाकर मुझे इतना बता दो कि क्या इस देश में ट्रांसपेरेंसी आएगी, क्या अकाउंटेबिलिटी आएगी, या हम मान ले कि दिस इज द न्यू नॉर्मल?
No, and this is what we started with. No, Vivek Silas, you have to answer.
Since you asked me, can I answer? Please go to my Twitter timeline. I've been raising this for 7 years now. That
I'll tell you what is the
system-
problem.
Can I finish?
No, no, no.
Please.
And
That
what
this
happens
needs to be
is-
reformed. I have been calling for Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation for 2 years now. 2 years, not 7 months, not since UGC, because of the compound screw-ups that have happened in that ministry. If the man is not interested in ministry, he had no business occupying that position. So nobody made this political till the CJP came in. All right, the CJP made it political.
And you know, I think
Take
Vivek
this up
Silas,
with
this
them.
is what we started by asking, that when you start branding that this is a Gen Z whose voice we are going to listen to, and this is a Gen Z we are quietly going to ignore, or we are going to give them platitudes like we have taken cognizance, or we are going to say things like paper leak तो हुआ ही नहीं है, ये पागल है, जो बोल रहे हैं पागल है,
First of all,
वाटर
thanks.
कैनन कर दो।
First of all, thanks.
विवेक साइलस।
First.
अभिजीत दीपके ने कहा हम प्रेशर ग्रुप है, तो ये इंसल्ट नहीं है विपक्ष की, जो काम विपक्ष का होना चाहिए, क्योंकि लोकतंत्र के लिए जितना नुकसान
विपक्ष इस देश में विपक्ष कहाँ है?
But सवाल-
नरेंद्र मोदी को
सवाल-
डिक्टेटर कह रहे हैं, अगर वो
भारतीय जनता
लोकतंत्र
पार्टी
को
से
नुकसान
पूछा
पहुंचा रहे
जाना
हैं,
चाहिए।
तो एक कमजोर विपक्ष भी लोकतंत्र के लिए उतना ही बड़ा खतरा
भाई,
है। ये हमको समझना पड़ेगा।
Education department किसके अंदर है?
मैं सिंपल सा तो आपसे बोलता हूँ, if
think he's getting
God
close to
comes
time.
if God comes and asks you for a wish, I think God came to Narendra Modi and asked him for a wish, and he said, I want a opposition leader like Rahul Gandhi.
Okay, Vivek Silas and then Harshavardhan Tripathi. Just a second.
Thank you for taking the initiative against Dharmendra Pradhan. I'm very happy to hear that. The problem.
आपने आम आदमी पार्टी के प्रवक्ता को बिठा दिया, समाजवादी पार्टी के प्रवक्ता को बिठा दिया। आप ये भी तो देखो, 6 महीने बाद इलेक्शन है, कैसे जाएंगे रांची? रांची चले जाएंगे तो पंजाब नहीं जा पाएंगे, रांची में बैठ जाएंगे तो यूपी में नहीं बैठ पाएंगे। इंडी अलायंस बैठा है यहाँ पे, जो हर बार बदल जाता है। लोकसभा चुनाव में इनकी दुकान एक साथ होती है, और जब
तो आपका सवाल
विधानसभा
भारतीय
चुनाव होते
जनता
हैं तो
पार्टी
अलग अलग
से
रेडियो
नहीं
होती है।
चाहिए। आप एक journalist हैं।
सीधा सवाल है
जो
आपसे।
हमारे
बताइए।
सीधा सवाल का
freedom
सीधा
of
उत्तर
press
ही है।
index
देखिए।
वहाँ से कहाँ गिर
चुनाव
चुका
है,
है?
आप रांची नहीं जा पाए, बताइए।
as far as रांची की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, as far as the education,
रांची की बात कीजिए
एक
ना,
मिनट
problem
मैम
यही
मुझे
है,
बोलने
रांची की
तो
बात आप
दीजिए।
नहीं कर रहे हैं,
मैं
यही
बोलने
तो
दीजिए।
problem है।
The problem here is that the central government or the government in the center is spending only 2% in the education system, and you want to compete with Chinese. You want to compete with Europeans. You want to compete with Americans.
बच्चा बोल रहा
You
है,
need
why
to-
can't you
रांची
go
बिल्कुल
to
जाएंगे, वो तो
Jharkhand?
मैं बैठते ही बोल चुका हूँ, जरूर जाएंगे रांची, क्यों नहीं
कब
जाएंगे?
सर, ये तो राम मंदिर
नहीं,
की
नहीं,
तरह हो
बिल्कुल
गया,
राम
बुलावे
मंदिर की
का
तरह नहीं
इंतजार
हो
कर रहे
गया।
हैं क्या?
ना,
कि जब
ना,
राम
ना,
मंदिर
ना,
से बुलावा
ना,
आएगा
ना,
तब
ना,
जाएंगे
एकदम नहीं
हम।
रुक जाइए।
वैसे ही
राम-
रांची हो गया,
नहीं,
राम मंदिर एक तरफ रांची हो गया।
राम मंदिर
कि अभी तक बुलावा नहीं
नहीं,
आया।
राम मंदिर के चोर तो बैठे ही हुए हैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी में, वो तो हम देख ही रहे
Okay, go
हैं।
on.
और आरएसएस ने क्या कहा मैं भी बता दूं। टी.जी. मोहनदास ने क्या कहा आपको याद है? उसने कहा मेरा बस चलता तो मैं घेराबंदी करा के सबको गोली मरवा देता। और दूसरी बात सुन लीजिए,
Okay,
उन्होंने
again
कहा
this-
जो लड़कियां वहां थी, दे आर फॉन्ड ऑफ रेप। क्या जवाब देंगे ये? देंगे? है
इनको
हिम्मत?
जवाब देने की जरूरत भी नहीं है, उसका खुद
क्यों
संघ ने
मोहन
जवाब दे
भागवत
दिया
कर रहे हैं
है
बंबई
that
में?
that person is not
अब क्यों
associated.
बुला रहे हैं? He is associated with the RSS.
Okay.
अब क्यों
hold on a second.
क्यों मोहन भागवत बुला रहे
Please,
हैं? जयंती को बंबई में?
Okay.
Hello, sir, and good evening to all, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And I would like to, I give a respect to each and everyone's opinion because everyone has their own thoughts of emotions. So, sir, मैं ये बोलना चाहती हूँ कि अभी जो नीट प्रोटेस्ट हुआ था, जो कि बहुत फेमस गया था सोशल मीडिया में, तो सर मैंने देखा कि जैसे जब स्टूडेंट पे लाठीचार्ज या जब वांगसुक जी की जो लंबी जब प्रोटेस्ट हुई थी, तब जाके ऑपोजिशन के सारे लीडर गए थे, तब जाके सब गए थे। अभी उनको पता चल गया कि इतना बड़ा प्रोटेस्ट होने के बाद स्टूडेंट पे क्या बीती होगी, क्या चल रहा है, तो उस हिसाब से झारखंड में इतनी देरी क्यों कर रहे हो आप? वहाँ पे जब चीज़ें स्टूडेंट के ऊपर जब अटैक किया जा रहा था, सब जब चल रहा था, तब सारे पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ऑपोजिशन वाले चले गए थे और उसमें से उन्होंने अपनी भी ब्रांडिंग कर दी कि दैट वी विल टेक एक्शन इन दिस, वी विल डू दिस, वी विल डू दैट, दे आर रॉन्ग, दे आर राइट. So but now the Jharkhand, why you are waiting?
So nobody,
why you are waiting, still waiting for that?
Nobody is saying that the students in Jharkhand should not be supported, or the students in Punjab, or for that matter
And
anywhere
students
else, right?
are saying,
But we talk about
students are
structural
saying
reforms in
that-
education.
Ma'am, but just
When you
one
talk
line I
about
want to
structural
say
reforms
that.
in education, it is the BJP that is in power.
Yeah, see-
Our education budget is
I want
literally
to say
a
just one
laughing
line, ma'am.
matter.
One line, just.
a matter
One line I
of
want to say
a
that I
joke out here. Our Freedom Press Index to my little brother, to my younger brother out here, because I've been a journalist in 3 different countries, right? We are 151 out of 180 countries. We literally have had no freedom whatsoever. So the point is that it is the Bharatiya Janata Party.
She is asking you about Jharkhand. JHARKHAND.
Right. So Jharkhand ke saath entire opposition is standing. Right. Just because they have not reached there as much as they have reached in the Jantar Mantar does not mean
झारखंड की
that they're
सोशल
not with
मीडिया
the
रीच
students
जो
of
है
Jharkhand.
वो बहुत कम है जंतर
Let us
मंतर
not
से,
forget,
क्योंकि जंतर
man,
मंतर पे
the
जो लोग
BJP.
गए थे आज वो
It is the
इन्फ्लुएंसर बन
BJP
चुके हैं,
that needs to
लेकिन
answer
झारखंड
these
जाके वो
questions.
इन्फ्लुएंसर नहीं बन पाएंगे।
They're the ones-
मैम को उतनी
they're the
लाइक्स,
ones who have
इतने
not been
कमेंट्स,
able to
मैम आपको
have
उतने
a
लाइक्स और
structural
कमेंट्स
reform.
नहीं मिलेंगे झारखंड
Mass
में।
skill development or any form of learning.
Huda Sariwala, I think you need to listen again to what this young man said, because now there is this new meme saying, what happened, darling? Ranchi is not aesthetic enough for your Instagram story.
झारखंड इज नॉट इनफ एस्थेटिक फॉर यू ना
Ma'am,
मैम द रीजन इज यू गाइज आर नॉट गोइंग टू रांची, क्योंकि
Who guys?
रांची की
Who guys?
सोशल मीडिया
Explain who
रीच
guys?
जंतर
कौन
मंतर
guys?
के बराबर नहीं है। जंतर मंतर
ठीक है।
क्योंकि
तो
जंतर में
भारतीय
जो लोग
जनता पार्टी
इन्फ्लुएंसर
तो
बन
support
गए
कर रही है ना
हैं,
वहाँ
अब
पे।
वो
कर
चाहे
रही-
उतने कमेंट
कर
और
रही है।
लाइक्स
Secondly,
आपकी
भारतीय
पोस्ट पे
जनता
भी उतने
पार्टी
लाइक
को
नहीं आएंगे जब आप
अपने हाई हॉर्स पे बैठ के स्टूडेंट्स का ख्याल आ रहा है। I think that is the biggest development out here. Number 1. Number 2, everybody stands with the students of Jharkhand, right? वहाँ पे बच्चों के साथ
Stand how? In video call?
Not being shock baited.
You'll stand with students via video call.
Girls are not being hit with danda and lathis on their
You're
private
waiting
parts.
for that to happen before you actually take the flight and go there.
Jharkhand government is not going to do that. They're engaging with the students. They're talking to
They
the
are
students.
not engaging.
Basically,
They are not engaging.
To the
Basically, you're
students.
saying
They
that
are
the
with
students in
students. They're talking to the
Jharkhand,
students.
basically you're saying the students in Jharkhand, they're actually committing a mistake by being peaceful. Because the only way
Even
they will
CJP
catch
is peaceful.
people's
Let us not
attention
forget.
is
It
by
was the Delhi
engaging.
police. It was the Delhi police that did
it
the
was not.
entire barbarta, the violence was
Absolutely
from
not.
the Delhi police and the rapid action force
Absolutely
people.
not.
It was the Bharatiya Janata Party.
No.
It was Amit Shah who had asked
Okay,
these people,
very
Delhi
quickly,
police,
very quickly.
to do this violence against the students.
Okay, go on. This
Right?
young lady, go on,
We
go on,
all
go on.
stand
Speak,
with the
speak.
students
Bolo,
of
bolo,
Jharkhand.
नहीं तो नहीं
Ma'am,
सुनी
you all
जाओगी.
are fighting for anti-CJP and CJP. Why are you all blaming BJP? Why are you not doing
Why not?
anything for the
Why
Jharkhand
not?
students?
Whom does the education department belongs to?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Which
मैम अगर आपकी पार्टी झारखंड में पहुंच भी जाएगी तो आप इन सबसे
Ma'am, our former
accountability की
Chief
बात कर
Minister
लेंगे
bring the anti-cheating paper bill.
Absolutely.
बिकॉज व्हाट इज द कॉज कि किसी भी गवर्नमेंट के टाइम पे पेपर लीक होते हैं वो आउटसोर्सिंग कर देती है अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आप प्राइवेट एजेंसी को आउटसोर्सिंग कर देते हैं और फिर आप बाद में रेजिग्नेशन हर गवर्नमेंट से मांगते हैं
So,
पेपर लीक के टाइम पे
Jharkhand protest is a right protest, right? It is by the students. Everybody stands by the students. The police in Jharkhand is not going to do the same violence that happened in Delhi at the instructions of Amit Shah.
Because, ma'am, उन्होंने अपने उस पे लगा
Number
रखा है।
one. Number
Ma'am,
two,
anti-religious
the government is in engagement with the students. That is the
Padmaja.
basic core difference between the Jharkhand and the Jantar Mantar protest.
Ma'am,
Let
30
basic
seconds,
difference
Harshvardhan ji.
is-
valid
basic difference
Padmaja,
is-
Padmaja, सिर्फ
Only कर रही है. He did not see
30
that.
seconds, Harshvardhan ji.
20th July.
30
Only
seconds,
when we
हर्षवर्धन
saw
जी,
that.
और यहाँ
पद्मजा।
के सिंपल पॉइंट का ये जवाब दीजिए। वो कह रही है कि हमारी सॉलिडारिटी की जरूरत अभी रांची में नहीं है क्योंकि वहाँ लाठियां नहीं चल रही हैं,
No, I never
वहाँ पर पैलेट गन्स नहीं इस्तेमाल की जा रही है, वहाँ वायलेंस
Ma'am,
नहीं
you
है।
said that right now.
हर्षवर्धन जी,
पद्मजा,
What
सबसे
happened in Delhi
Let
is
him
not
answer.
happening in Jharkhand.
That is what I'm
बैठ
describing.
जाइए,
That is what
झारखंड
I'm
के छात्रों के
describing.
साथ खड़े होना, यहाँ मत खड़े होइए।
जनता
झारखंड के छात्रों के साथ खड़े होइए, यहाँ मत खड़े
बैठ
होइए।
जाइए।
बैठिए,
बैठ जाइए,
प्लीज
उदा जी, बैठ जाइए।
पद्मजा,
Anti-cheating
पद्मजा,
paper bill. There will be anti-cheating paper bill.
पद्मजा, इस पूरी डिबेट में बच्चों ने जो कमाल की बात कही है, मुझे लगता है कोई भी जिन्होंने मुझे भी क्वेश्चन किया हो, ये सब के सब समझ रहे हैं कि ये नेता लोग बेईमानी कर रहे हैं। इन सबको समझ में आ रहा है कि ये वाला स्टेट, वो वाला स्टेट, हमारी पार्टी, हमारा कोलिशन। और जो साहिल ने कहा वो सबसे जरूरी बात, आपको स्टूडेंट के मुद्दों पर बात करने के लिए भी नहीं समय मिल रहा है, टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है। और क्या जब संसद में इस कानून पर बहस हो रही थी तो किस पार्टी के किस नेता ने कौन सा सजेशन दिया, आप लोग जरा खोज कर देखिएगा।
मैम,
क्या लीडर ऑफ
और
ऑपोजिशन ने,
उत्तर प्रदेश
क्या
former chief minister
दूसरे नेताओं ने, उन्होंने कोई ऐसा
anti-cheating
सजेशन
paper
दिया
and
कि वो
you
बेटरमेंट हो
repeat
पाता?
and later
असली मुद्दा,
from Jantar
असली
Mantar,
मुद्दा
from
students
Jantar
का-
Mantar, you said big promises. We are with youth. And when and prevention of unfair means fact आया, आपने 2 दिन हाउस नहीं चलने दिया.
Ma'am, if you are, ma'am,
How many journalists have been
Huda ji,
analyzed?
if you are standing with students, you are doing a very good job at drowning out and shouting out all the students. Let them
I'm not
speak.
shouting out on the students. I'm talking to
Madam, you're shouting out everybody.
a
Ma'am,
junior
Uttar Pradesh
citizen
screaming
with
for the
the
last
same
half an hour
background
without
as I
letting
am, which
anyone
is journalism. I believe you were the one who was shouting
Ma'am,
initially.
उत्तर प्रदेश former chief minister bring the anti-cheating paper bill. You repeal that bill and जंतर मंदिर से हमने बड़े प्रॉमिस किए, हम यूथ के साथ हैं। उसके बाद जब प्रिवेंशन ऑफ अनफेयर मींस फैक्ट आया, आपने 2 दिन तक हाउस नहीं चलने दिया। मैम, we are not a puppet. We are architect of this nation. We have to understand these things.
All right. And
Okay,
people
can
are
I just
watching who
point
wants
out-
constructive,
So the opposition was
who
asking
wants
questions.
constructive
Can I just
suggestions,
point out?
and who only wants to do political point scoring. I think a lot of people here want to be
Can I
heard.
make a quick
Very quickly,
point?
this young man.
Quick point,
Ma'am,
Padmaja.
I have just one suggestion or one question. Your action speaks louder than your words. That is a very well saying. But CJP's action does not shows the things you are saying right now. Like you are saying that they are going to be there, but it's just one phone call and one video call from Wanchuk sir, and that's all, nothing
Okay.
more.
So,
This lady in purple, go on.
So, ma'am, why wasn't there any lathi charges and police? You were saying that police harassment wasn't being done from the past 20 days. Like the protest was going on for so long, but that thing only happened on the day when there was no permission for to go to march to the parliament. But still, they went. They were not students. We students were not there.
did not deserve
There-
the lathi charges, right?
Ma'am, but it doesn't matter.
I was there.
I will stop you here.
I don't know if you were there.
Sorry to say this. I'll stop you there.
let
But
the students
we were
speak.
there at the protest and we saw.
was I.
So
Let the
my
students
father
speak.
is in Delhi police,
Right.
and I saw him. I saw him when he was being he was being sprayed in his eyes, and they were not students who were doing that
Right,
harming
right.
to the
Very
people.
so who had
You know,
I think it's
policemen.
very important
I'm
because
very sorry to
because
hear
there
about your
are
father.
many
This is
many
not what the
shades.
CJP was
There are
representing,
many
or the
shades.
students for that matter. But if the security was removed that day, पूरा पत्थरों से भरा truck वहाँ पे था. I was there, Padmaja ji. I was there. I saw.
You know, so
what
was
happened.
she.
And I'm
So
sure
was
so many
she.
of them as well.
So was she. Okay,
right?
30 seconds,
Right.
Abhijit.
So it
30
was
seconds,
Delhi
Abhijit.
police.
You know,
It
Huda
was the Delhi
Sariwala.
police. Delhi police के गुंडे आके वहाँ पे लड़कियों पे
Okay,
attack कर
just
रहे
a
थे.
second. Just a second.
You've seen
Hold
the
on a
reels, I'm
second.
sure
Huda
you've seen the
Sariwala, you know,
videos.
I think what is important is that even these kids who were also there can see that there were many people there. Yes, there were students.
Whose responsibility
Yes,
is
there
that?
were students, and yes, there were people who were taking advantage of what was happening and engaging in mischief. Now, one, you need to differentiate between the two. You need to differentiate between what happened. Anyway, all of that is now a subject of investigation. My question simply was today about why the similar solidarity cannot be shown for Jharkhand. And I'll give the last 30 seconds to this young man. Last 30
The
seconds.
opposition
Okay,
stands
very
with
quick point,
Jharkhand.
Abhijit.
Sonam Wangchuk ji गए हैं वहाँ पे.
Do you all have your smartphones on you? Okay, they took it away. Okay. I want you, when you go out, I want you to check the dates on which the TMC, Arvind Kejriwal visited the students and when the rioting broke out. So if we go by this logic that you can only visit them after they are shot with pellet guns, then please see when the AAP went to meet these students
Much
here,
before
well
the
before the
20th of
violence.
July.
Thank you. So why aren't you doing that there?
Okay, final
Right.
30
So
seconds, please. Final 30 seconds to the
Aam Aadmi
student.
Party is
Yes,
not in
we're out
power
of
in
time,
Jharkhand.
please. Yes.
Okay, so I have a very simple question. Please let me complete. The question is, as the paper leak has already done, the mission is totally successful. So why the people are even here? आप लोग ये क्यों चाहते हो डेट वाई द अपोजिशन को झारखंड में जाना चाहती है? अपोजिशन झारखंड में क्यों जाए? Even is it in the responsibility of the ruling party that they should compensate to the students or of the Jharkhand at paper
रूलिंग
leak?
पार्टी तो कांग्रेस और जेएमएम है ना वहाँ पे, तो इसीलिए तो सवाल राहुल गांधी से पूछा जा रहा है.
Either that why the ruling party isn't compensating the students? My question is simply this: आप opposition party
Finally, I want to just ask, there is a whole multiplicity of opinions here. I just want to do a show of hands. How many of you think that the same solidarity that was shown at Jantar Mantar should be shown at Jharkhand? Including me. How many of you think that the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi in particular should take his Chhatron ki Goonj to Ranchi? And how many of you think that this is only politics by the BJP trying to pass the buck because they got cornered in Jantar Mantar? Chalo, oh, you also don't think that this is politics by the BJP?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Asking me, but
Okay. I asked for a show of hands across the board. But you know, the thing is very simple. That politics and partisan politics will continue irrespective of what the issue is. But when it is about the students sitting on the streets, the very least that they deserve is a shoulder to cry on, a patient ear to hear what their problems are, and solidarity from everyone across the board, irrespective of which party you belong to. In that hope, thanks very much to this lovely audience, gentlemen and Huda Jariwala, for joining us today on People's Sunset.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और
मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों। कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रेकमेंड करता हूँ? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles, और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
रंग 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 रंगीन रे, देखो कैसे भी हो तुम रंग 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 बना रहे, आगे पीछे ऊपर नीचे होता रहेगा, धूप में भी तेरा रंग बना रहेगा, रहेगा रे रंगा ढंगा अतरंगा, रहना तू सतरंगा, जो होना है वो तो होना ही है, रंगीले तू सदा मुस्कुरा, सदा 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 मुस्कुरा। रंग 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 रंगीन रे, देखो कैसे भी हो दिन रंग बना रहे, बोझे पेंट्स रंग बना रहे।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
मीठा या नमकीन, चाहे जैसे खाओ, 100% सूजी से बनी आर प्योर वर्मिसेली, स्वादिष्ट, सेहतमंद हर रोज।
पर जब इंसान प्रकृति के साथ सामंजस्य को आत्मसात कर लेता है तो वो मधुर और लालन पोषण करने वाली बन जाती है। पी मार्क सरसों के तेल ने प्राकृतिक तरीके से सरसों के तेल को बनाया है शुद्धता और गुणवत्ता के साथ।
The mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों। कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
किसी कहीं पर एक इंस्टीट्यूशन में कहीं
झारखंड है सर, झारखंड का नाम ही आदमी भूल जाता है, तो झारखंड बोलिए।
When Ranchi's Sonam Wangchuk reached out.
सोनम सर आपके प्रेरणा से इतना बड़ा कदम उठाए हैं और इसका असर पूरे संपूर्ण झारखंड के साथ देश पर असरदार हुई है। देश का केंद्र बिंदु बना है यह प्रोटेस्ट कि आप लोग भी पहल करिए और सोनम वांगचुक सर से एक बार लाइव में बात करा दीजिए। हम पूरा आप लोग का चैनल की टीम से हम आग्रह करते हैं।
Jantar Mantar to Jharkhand, the buck stops here.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों। कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरे राजा।
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रिकमेंड करता हूँ? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
रंग 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 रंगीन रे, देखो कैसे भी हो तुम रंग 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 बना रहे। आगे पीछे ऊपर नीचे होता रहेगा, धूप में भी तेरा रंग बना रहेगा रहेगा रे। रंगा ढंगा अतरंगा, रहना तू सतरंगा। जो होना है वो तो होना ही है, रंगीले तू सदा मुस्कुरा, सदा 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 मुस्कुरा। रंग 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 रंगीन रे, देखो कैसे भी हो दिन रंग बना रहे। बोझे पेंट्स रंग बना रहे।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस हेल्दी एवरीडे।
भाभी हमेशा पी मार्क मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में। P Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
बरसों से सरसों।
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
मीठा या नमकीन, चाहे जैसे खाओ, 100% सूजी से बनी आर प्योर वर्मिसेली, स्वादिष्ट सेहतमंद हर रोज।
पर जब इंसान प्रकृति के साथ सामंजस्य को आत्मसात कर लेता है तो वो मधुर और लालन पोषण करने वाली बन जाती है। पी मार्क सरसों के तेल ने प्राकृतिक तरीके से सरसों के तेल को बनाया है शुद्धता और गुणवत्ता के साथ।
The mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों। कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
Testing doesn't make Gen Z anti-national. And nothing else that he did that's going viral now.
Today I learned the expression from you of what I am saying like this.
तो बस आप करिए साथ में करते क्लॉक इट.
Government cracks the whip on Meta. The heat is rising on the tech giant. The government has asked the tech platform to remove objectionable content on Instagram, Facebook, etc. in 3 hours flat, not 36 hours as previously, and forms strict norms for social media platforms and warns that failure to comply will result in losing safe harbor. We've got a full story on that coming up at 9:30. Former Tehelka editor Tarun Tejpal has been sentenced to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment in the 2013 Goa rape case in which he was convicted today. The Bombay High Court had overturned his acquittal and Tejpal is set to challenge the verdict now in the Supreme Court. Modi government builds consensus on delimitation bill. Sources tell NDTV that the centre has reached out to India bloc allies. Talks on with the Congress, Samajwadi Party and NCP Sharad Pawar. Minister Kiran Rijiju urges Rahul Gandhi to back the bill. Amidst growing buzz over possible political entry, actor Dhanush reignites the language war in Tamil Nadu, stressing that one's mother tongue should come before everything else. He says not knowing Tamil is an insult and urged people to learn the language. On the show tonight, right here on India Matters, it has taken 13 years to convict Tarun Tejpal, but I'm also going to be naming and shaming those who tried to shield him, tried to insulate him, and tried to assassinate the character of the woman he is now convicted of raping. That's my lead story tonight. But also coming up on the show is that the government versus Meta war has gone south. It has escalated, it has worsened, and we hear that the government definitely wants Meta to feel the pain in this current face-off. Let's get started with our top story tonight. Tarun Tejpal, crusading journalist, Tehelka founder, darling of India's liberal establishment, today convicted of rape and sentenced to 10 years rigorous imprisonment. 13 years ago in 2013, he had repeatedly assaulted a junior colleague at a hotel, a case that exploded during the final days of the UPA government. A dispensation, by the way, that saw Tejpal as a media ally, a friendly face for his earlier work exposing scandals in the Vajpayee government led by the BJP. 5 years ago, a trial court had shockingly acquitted Tarun Tejpal. But what followed the crime in 2013 and continued through the years was something else entirely. A sustained, extraordinary assault on the woman who accused him. Remember how this began. Tejpal described what happened as a lapse of judgment and announced his own punishment 6 months away from the editor's chair to atone, as though rape allegations could be settled by a sabbatical. Well, then came the ecosystem that we all know so well, India's famously hypocritical pseudo-liberal class that's happy to put aside its principles if the person or issue in question is inconvenient to their activism. An Outlook magazine cover story by journalist Manu Joseph purported to find discrepancies between the survivor's account and hotel CCTV footage. Tejpal's family was accused at the time of circulating that footage, as his defenders claimed it contradicted her story. And then there was News Laundry, an internet portal, published an open letter by a woman named Nirupama Sekri, which told the survivor in direct speech, "I do not see you as a victim," and called her a victim of bubblegum feminism and described what she alleged happened as a small occurrence. I'm not even making this up. It's on the internet. You can find it and read it. A website that positioned itself or positions itself as the arbiter of media truth, accuracy and fairness had the sister of its founder apparently write a sneering letter to a woman who had alleged rape just a few months prior, telling her to grow up and stop treating what happened to her as anything serious. Now just think about that for a moment. This was barely a few months after the Nirbhaya gang rape in Delhi. Here we're talking about a young journalist who had accused one of Indian journalism's most powerful men of that time, her boss, of rape. And people who preached feminism, justice, and speaking truth to power suddenly discovered endless reasons to interrogate her instead of Tarun Tejpal. That continued in court. Of course, it continued in court. Her private messages, sexual conversations, intimate history were picked apart. Her behavior after the assault was scrutinized against some imaginary template of how real rape survivors should behave. The Bombay High Court has now explicitly rejected that approach that led to her acquittal 5 years ago, calling the trial court verdict perverse and condemning the character assassination of the survivor. This was never only about Tarun Tejpal. It was about what happens when principles collide with friendship, ideology, and tribe. Today's conviction is the beginning of justice and perhaps some closure 13 years after a traumatic crime. But those who bent over backwards to shield Tejpal, media magazine editors, journalists, founders, institutions, columnists, those who discovered exceptions to their principles on rape because the accused was one of their own, that ecosystem stands stripped naked and exposed today, and everyone will remember. Now I want to tell you how Tarun Tejpal's victim was tormented beyond the crime. Demeanor policing was number one. The trial court said the survivor didn't look terrified and was not acting like a rape victim. Her reactions were questioned. The defense asked why she continued normal interactions, and they asked why she confided in men instead of female colleagues. Every detail of her private life was exposed. Intimate, unrelated phone chats were scrutinized to paint her character as something else. Chats were used to cast doubt on her character. It was relentless, it was constant. Identity was disclosed. The trial court judgment revealed her name and her email ID. Her sexual history was disclosed and discussed in detail during the court hearings. The defense shared accounts of sexual encounters with another man. Completely her business and her private life. Clothing was discussed in detail. The judgment had recorded the length of her dress and undergarments. And I'm only going into some aspects of how she was picked apart, how her character was assassinated through the entire duration of the trial. One journalist who was there right from the beginning, when the crime took place, to the trial, to the media management that was perpetrated to protect and insulate Tarun Tejpal, to the magazine cover stories that tried to be forensic about his innocence, to the incredible devious cover-up at every level to save someone who was seen as a soldier of truth, is my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul, who as a younger journalist at that time was there at every level of this story. Aditya, you saw this up close. The manner in which manipulations, lies, suggestions, even evidence tampering, evidence sharing, which was strictly not allowed at that time, was happening rampantly in order to change the facts, change the narrative, change the perception in order to protect this man.
Well, that's right, Shiv. It's a horrific case and open case. You have a witness testimony, for God's sake. You have, in fact, the survivor coming out, giving out details, and then, on the contrary, you also have an apology letter out and open. And the managing editor of Tehelga at that time, I remember, Shoma Chaudhary, in 2013 came out and she asked me, are you the aggrieved party? When I asked her that why was action not taken against Tarun Tejpal by the Vishaka committee or the sexual harassment committee of Tehelga? She had no answers. And she said that I convinced Tarun Tejpal to apologize. Now, if somebody commits rape or commits sexual harassment and then just, says that, I want to atone myself, I want to apologize, is that enough? Does that, give some kind of a benefit of doubt to him? Yeah. Or the law of the land will take place. Now, I was sitting in a cafe in Greater Kailash when a colleague from Tehelka called me and gave me this letter that was written by the survivor to Shoma Chaudhary, and that's how I broke this story. And then for days together, I was standing outside the residence of Tarun Tejpal in Jangpura and in Greater Kailash outside the office of Tehelka, and I chased them to Goa as well. And, I received a lot of abusive texts. I don't want to name people at that particular time, but there was absolute mayhem and character assassination of the victim. So much so, I don't know the reasons why she's not here, but the survivor is currently not in India.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how, this kind of a cabal exists. And even today, after the High Court double bench came in, Shiv, this entire cabal of journalist friends haven't condemned this, haven't welcomed this, haven't stood with the survivor of the rape in this entire case. So that says a lot. And even today, with the details that have come out, the apology and the conviction, this entire cabal remains silent and continues to, in fact, comment. Last comment I'll make, on my Instagram, I put out this statement that came in from the court. And I spoke to the mother of the victim as well. She gave me a quote as well. And there's a lady who writes that I know the family. This has been done deliberately by the BJP government to, character assassinate Tejpal because he was commenting against it. If that was so, in the last 13 years, why did Tejpal not launch a series of articles or, media articles and investigation as to why BJP was doing this? There was no political angle so far. This is a crime. And that's what it is, and that's how this should be judged.
One very quick question, Aditya, because I'm curious about this. Given that, CCTV footage, video grabs, from the hotel where this crime took place were being, generously distributed by either the family or the lawyers, to journalists who were willing to help them set the narrative. That was also happening right in front of your eyes, right?
I'm pretty sure it was happening. In fact, I have that photograph of Tarun Tejpal and the survivor, along with a very, legendary figure on the stage at the Think Fest in November 2013. And along with that photograph, there was a poster that was made to character assassinate the victim at that particular time. There was continuous messaging. At that time, the social media was relatively not as active as today, but there was Twitter. On Twitter, through fake handles, through, journalists, there were questions being raised. You named some of them. And even today, I'm pretty sure, now Tarun Tejpal approaches the Supreme Court, which is his democratic right under the law, but there will be character assassination. In fact, he was accepted back to the society. Last point that I want to make, Shiv, is that 20 years back, you would remember, I started this campaign for Priyadarshini Mattu. At that time, the society believed that there would be a change and there would be speedy justice. And then came the Nirbhaya case and the Justice Verma Committee, because there's another angle to it, apart from this cabal, that there's no justice for women in India. There's no, speedy justice. We are discussing, anti-paper leaks, etc., and 3 months justice. Why not for the women of India? Even today, if a rape is committed, they have to wait for 10 to 15 years for justice. Is this justice?
It's incredible and it's shameful, and you're right. 13 years it took. Despite it not being a very complicated case, at least that's how we see it. 13 years, and the fact that this crime took place, just a few months after the Nirbhaya gang rape in Delhi. So it's not like the system hadn't been, jolted already towards crimes against women, and yet it has taken 13 years for this conviction. Aditya, thanks very much for joining me on that, because after the verdict today, Tarun Tejpal did something incredible, and that's what's made an even bigger headline. He said that his conviction is completely political. He said that he is like Umar Khalid, who is being fixed politically, and tried to make himself a victim and a martyr on his rape conviction. You don't believe me? Listen to this.
हमको कोई डाउट नहीं है, हम 13 साल से एक पॉलिटिकल वेंडरा के पीछे, तहलका के काम की वजह से पीछे मेरे पीछे पड़े हुए हैं। तो हम लोगों ने ट्रायल कोर्ट में 7.5 साल पूरा केस लड़के हम लोग अक्विट हुए। अब ये लोग फिर पीछे पड़ गए हैं। जो इनके साथ लोग हैं उनको तो ये सब अक्विट कर देते हैं। अब ये तो जर्नलिस्ट पे डिपेंड करता है ना कि वो जाके क्वेश्चन पूछे, सवाल पूछें। आपको पता है उमर खालिद जेल में बैठा है 6 साल से। आपको पता है शर्जील इमाम बैठा है। आपको पता है सुरेंद्र गैडलिंग बैठा है जेल में अलग अलग केसों में। भाई इतने नहीं है, कई दर्जनों लोग हैं, तो मैं भी उनमें से एक हूँ।
So let's talk about today's verdict, how long it has taken, the many things that were done to the survivor right through this entire process, and get some initial comments first from my guest tonight, Meghna Pant, author, columnist, Karuna Nandi, senior advocate with the Supreme Court, Jayanand Deyadrai, advocate with the Supreme Court, and C. Rajshekaran, president with the Indian Lawyers Association in Tamil Nadu. Welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for being with me here tonight. Meghna Pant, I'd like to start it off with you. Just your opening thoughts today. 13 years later, a conviction, 5 years after an acquittal that most people found shocking or surprising at least. Harsh words used by the Bombay High Court today, setting aside that acquittal and convicting Tarun Tejpal. And I've just played out for you what he said after that conviction as well. Meghnaphat.
But I think, Shiv, first of all, the bubblegum feminism has bared its teeth today. And I'll call the Tarun Tejpal conviction, it's very significant, but it's impossible to call this a victory because of exactly the points you mentioned earlier, right? The assault that came to the survivor after she was already assaulted in that elevator, or as though trauma has, this fixed prescribed facial expression or way to conduct itself. And I think what the Bombay High Court did is so important, and we must focus on that, is that there's no perfect victim or even perfect perpetrator, so to speak, right? The perfect perpetrator is not, carrying a placard saying, I'm a rapist. The perfect victim is not the Sati Savitri who has no agency, who's wearing, weeping. And so I think we need to dispel these very outdated notions, which have been recognized very smartly so today by the Bombay High Court. And it's very nice to hear that. But I think this whole point of certain sections of the media, why are we protecting our own, Shiv? I mean, we're both, journalists, and why can't we question the accused? I think this sort of influential figures within the media, protecting them, this elite immunity that is extended to influential figures has to stop. Journalism cannot become an echo chamber that protects its own while abandoning its first duty, that is the pursuit of truth. And when the press is shielding power, I mean, if you heard the interviews, Tejpal is being addressed as sir. Why? You have to scrutinize, especially sexual assault. It does a profound disservice to our industry, not just to survivors, but also to justice itself, when journalists are protecting each other. So I think this is also something, this predatory behavior needs to be called out, and everybody in the media is aware of Tarun Tejpal's reputation. I mean, I have friends who have come up to me and described horror stories of not just him, but other powerful men who have been equally granted impunity, not just by society, but also, by many members of our community. So I think women need to be stopped being condemned for speaking up, but we also need to stop condoning men, especially even if they belong to our own field.
Karuna Nandi, many colliding thoughts and themes that strike one on a day like this. What stands out to you? What are your thoughts today on the conviction of Tarun Tejpal and what he said after that conviction?
A powerful man has been held accountable today. And this is something that we must all celebrate our justice system for. Now, is he somebody who would have been held accountable had he not been the editor of the Helka? Possibly not. He had the benefit, the survivor journalist had the benefit of the Solicitor General himself appearing in her matter. She had the benefit of the state really putting its weight behind her because the state was the BJP government that had a long-standing feud with Tarun Tejpal. And this confluence of circumstances resulted in this day today, which is a very important day, because the bench led by Justice Neela Gokhale has said that, and Justice Amit Jamsandekar has directly spoken about stereotypes, the stereotypical assumptions about how an ideal victim should physically resist, etc. But at the same time, when there isn't that kind of support, when the rapist is one of the, and I speak about the BJP, there are many things true of the Congress, of other parties, but the BJP is in power. So when it is the BJP's own person, like Kuldeep Sengar or Brij Bhushan, or whether it's somebody who is attempting to shove a baton up one of the student protesters, or when it is someone who is threatening Ria Ahir with rape threats, and her FIR has still not been registered, multiple rape threats she's getting. And her FIR has still not been registered after 5 days by the Mumbai police. Then justice is nowhere to be seen. So yes, today is important. This man is a rapist. He is certainly no Umar Khalid. He is no Sharjeel Iman. He is no victim. So today is an important day, but let us be clear that accountability has to happen across the board. It can't just be those that governments do not like.
Okay. Jayanand Dehadrai, same question to you. Your thoughts, what stands out to you? What would you like to say about what happened today?
Hi, Shiv. Good evening. For me, a very happy, but also a very sad day. Happy because justice has been delivered. This man has been convicted. He is a rapist. He's a sexual predator. But I'm also very sad today, Shiv, because it took 13 years for this outcome, to come. And even now, there is no certainty what will happen because there is, the entire appeal available now to the Supreme Court that Tarun Tejpal has, of course, as a matter of right. But, even keeping that aside, I'm sad also because this incident, it was not a single incident. There were 2 instances of rape that were committed on 2 subsequent days in the same elevator.
Yeah.
So I'm gravely disappointed with the Honorable Bombay High Court bench at Goa for only giving this man 10 years. The law permits the appellate court, especially, at the level of the High Court, to give punishment between a minimum of 10 up to life. So according to me, this was also an aggravated offense because Tarun Tejpal was not just some random person who came and raped this survivor, this lady, but he was in fact her boss. He was in a dominant position and he abused that dominance, not once, but twice. So according to me, it's because he's such an influential person. And Shiv, I must compliment you. In fact, I must compliment you for not focusing only on the aspect that this is a powerful man who has today, he's had to face justice. But the fact that there was an entire cabal that Ms. Pant also spoke about. This cabal was activated. These horrific, shameful people with zero moral compass who basically came around like hyenas to hound this victim. And we can see, I've gone through the judgment of the 81-page judgment of the High Court. Shiv, it's very instructive. It's very interesting. Over 18 days, this poor lady, the survivor, she was subjected to the most grotesque possible cross-examination over 18 days, which runs into 1,000 pages. And the funny thing is, Shiv, that this incident happened in November of 2013. The incident happened in November 2013, and the law, the Evidence Act was amended in February of 2013 when Section 53 capital A was brought in.
Correct.
Which specifically barred questions of sexual history and, such questions being put to the victim.
Correct.
To the survivor. I'm sorry, I should not say victim, I should say survivor. My mistake. But, despite that being there, these irrelevant, humiliating questions were allowed to be put to, this survivor by the trial court. And I'm at least happy that the High Court has taken note of this and has come down heavily on the trial court itself.
Yeah.
Just the last thing, Shiv. But at the same time, I don't see the High Court covering itself in glory either. 10 years, two assaults, two incidents of rape, one after the other. This is certainly not enough. But I will certainly compliment the Union of India, the government, for, and look, sometimes I understand what Ms. Nandi is also saying. She's not wrong. She's correct in saying that because this is an influential person. So what about other people, other victims, other survivors who are not, assaulted by an influential person? So what happens in their case? Do you have, a top legal officer coming into those cases to prosecute those cases as well? But at least in this case, I must compliment the Solicitor General, Mr. Tushar Mehta. He did a fabulous job. And I think it's because of his efforts today that at least some modicum of justice
I agree.
This person has got.
Let's not forget, however, that, even with all the, political color to what we're talking about, and it cannot be denied. I completely agree with what Karunanandi said, that 5 years ago, a trial court acquitted Tarun Tejpal. He was given a clean chit, and that's been set aside now with this conviction. See, Rajshekaran, Tarun Tejpal comes out of court and says, I am Sharjeel Imam, I am Umar Khalid, I am a political victim after all this. You've just heard the 3 panelists talk about how the process itself was an incredible second crime, a second punishment to the survivor.
Sure. As discussed earlier with all the panelists saying that he is a rapist and he has been convicted. Yes, I totally concede on that point. But the same lower court, the Sessions Court had acquitted him for the same offense, and all these were agitated. And fortunately for Tarun Tejpal and unfortunately for the victim survivor, he was acquitted. And now the Honorable High Court, Mumbai High Court, has convicted him. And he has been given an opportunity of 4 weeks to surrender. And he will appeal in the Supreme Court. That is the process. Let us be honest. Let us speak from our conscience. Will this same government, if not in power or in power, BJP, because Tarun Tejpal claims it is a political vendetta, and the BJP government, he was a thorn in the flesh for them. He was exposing in and out of BJP's misdeeds. And that is the reason. This is a claim by Tarun Tejpal. And you have to look into that aspect also. Now today, as my learned senior friend was mentioning, will the government, will the Solicitor General appear against the accused of same sexual harassment rape cases against 44 BJP MPs and MLAs who are in the BJP party? And last week, Brij Bhushan Singh was acquitted by the Delhi High Court, and the survivor was an Olympic medal wrestler.
Yeah.
And people go on saying that justice has been done. Why justice did not happen to that survivor? And why you all are not debating on that?
Okay.
Selective amnesia.
No, this is that debate. No, you're saying why are you not debating that? This is that debate, Mr. Rajshekharan. This is precisely that debate.
Thank you, Shiv.
No, let Jay answer that precise point. Please remember here on the 9 p.m. show on NDTV, I do not interrupt and I do not overrule anyone. All views are welcome, and it's a welcome view. I will get both Jay and the other panelists to talk. Jay, you wanted to quickly respond to that, add to that, because Sri Rajshekharan says this is BJP color. He agrees with what Tejpal has said.
No, I mean, with great respect to Mr. Rajshekharan, he's a very senior person. But I wish he would look at the facts a little more carefully and look at the list of dates, which we're all trained to look at as lawyers, especially as criminal lawyers. Please see the facts, Mr. Rajshekharan. In 2013, there was a Congress government when this incident took place. By the time he was acquitted, it was 2021, it was a BJP government in which he was acquitted. So this entire argument of yours that there is a political color to this entire case, his conviction, his acquittal, and finally now his acquittal being set aside is completely bogus. So please, for God's sake, don't insult the survivor by trying to make it into a political issue. It is not a political issue. Nobody asked Tarun Tejpal to go and to commit rape, not once but twice, and then later try to paint himself as some sort of victim or political, target. I think this does a great disservice to the sacrifices of that survivor who must have gone through hell and back in answering those 18 days of cross-examination where she was humiliated in every manner imaginable. So please, for God's sake, don't make this argument. Second point. Very quickly, second point. I would invite Mr. Rajshekharan to please go and read the judgment, for God's sake, of the Bombay High Court. It explains that the judgment of the trial court was perverse. Why was it perverse? This is the first test we are taught when we learn criminal law. It is perverse because extremely incriminating evidence, Shiv, was ignored by the trial court. That incriminating evidence had been ignored, and in fact, apart from the victim's own testimony, there was other corroborative material that was available that substantiated her case. So now to say, yes,
I'm not a lawyer, but what you're saying probably aligns with the assumption that there was evidence tampering or evidence suppression as a result of which this acquittal actually happened. Rajshekharan, quick reply, then Meghna wants to come in, and also Karunanandi.
Shiv, see, I'm not going to argue or I'm not going to fight for Tarun Tejpal. Let me be honest and fair. See, you should give an opportunity to the accused, and he has been given an opportunity. I am not questioning the wisdom of any judge, neither the lower court judge or the Honorable Division Bench of the Mumbai High Court. Being a lawyer of the criminal side, defense lawyer, I know how things pan out, and I don't want to insinuate and I don't want to speak on innuendos, which is not my point of view. Let me be honest.
That is exactly what he's done.
But
all this was No.
You're contradicting yourself. You're contradicting yourself, Mr. Rajshekharan. Because also the point I want to make is it's not like Tarun Tejpal didn't have access to the best legal team, the best resources, and the best lawyers.
Please
He was not some weakling with no resources to access very good legal advice and legal defense.
No,
that's right.
I'll tell you, Shiv, the learned senior friend in the panel, Karunanandi, was mentioning, will the Solicitor General appear against all the...
It's a fair question. It's a fair question. It's a totally fair question.
BJP?
But does that take away from the crime itself?
Very, very pertinent point she has raised. I am with her on that.
Okay, but does it take...
Government machinery,
But does it take away from... But does it take away from the survivor shaming, the character assassination, etc.? Both things can be
on a
true.
TV panel.
Shiv, let me answer that question.
Let me just bring Karunanandi in, then I'll come back to you, Jay. Yes, Karunanandi, you want to respond to that?
I wanted to say that if it had been evidence tampering, or if the main problem had been evidence tampering, or the prosecution not preserving the chain of custody of the evidence, etc., then one might not have had as much of a problem with the Sessions Court judgment as one did, right? But the way this judge, the additional Sessions Judge Shama Joshi, ran gave the judgment, saying, for instance, things like that she didn't look like a proper victim. And this is, Justice Neela Gokhale has absolutely slammed it by saying that they relied on stereotypical assumptions about how an ideal victim should physically resist. And this is something a lot of trial court judgments suffer from, right? But what the Sessions Judge said was that the photos show the prosecutrix to be absolutely cheerful and with a smile on her face and not disturbed, reserved, terrified, or traumatized in any manner. The weight that should have been given to the CCTV footage, the weight that should have been given to the fact that Mr. Tejpal wrote emails saying that he had attempted sexual activity with her and that she had been reluctant. There was all sorts of evidence that was treated in the wrong way. And that is why it was a travesty.
Okay.
I feel no case. I don't know.
Absolutely. Meghna?
But I think the point that Mr. Rajshekharan is making cannot be dismissed,
Okay.
Which is that it
Fair
can't be
enough.
that our rapists and your rapists are rapists.
All
rapists are rapists.
That's a line I constantly use on my shows, by the way. My rapists versus your rapists. We see that all the time, in our political debates. Meghna, yes.
I want to point out at this point, Shiv, that this is a classic playbook of all powerful men accused of sexual violence, that first you character assassinate, then you blame political conspiracy, then you blame you deflect, you gaslight, you manipulate. But I really want to talk about these 13 years that have been wasted, that can never be returned, Shiv. The cost of delay in these cases of sexual harassment, what this survivor has gone through, it's not merely administrative, it's deeply human. And I really want to touch upon the fact that this survivor, for many women like her, the legal process has become a second punishment. 13 years. This is not how the justice system should function. And I'm really requesting the courts. Understand they're burdened with an enormous backlog. We have millions of pending cases, far too few judges. But I think we need to start rethinking how we treat, especially sexual harassment cases, domestic abuse, matrimonial disputes, anywhere where women are filing cases. I know there are only 10% of women who actually have the courage to come forward and even come to court to file cases. Yeah. Let's not punish them a second time over. Can we please create a better, seamless system for women who go to court, because they've often and always crossed already an extraordinary psychological threshold. The justice system needs to recognize this courage, not test it for another decade. So I really beseech, a specialized judicial framework with dedicated judges, prosecutors, support services for violence against women.
It is honestly a kind of unsettling deja vu, because I remember when I was in my previous channel, I had both Karunanandi and Meghna Pant on a show after the Nirbhaya gang rape case. And here we are talking once again about, why things are so slow and why the law, doesn't serve the survivor or the victim. Jay, you want to come in? Final word?
No, very quickly. This repeated sort of insinuation. One, of course, what Mr. Rajshekharan was referring to, that the court perhaps also came under political pressure. That is exactly what he was trying to insinuate. I reject that. I think anybody who reads that judgment, it becomes very clear that that's nothing of the sort. But the other thing also of the Solicitor General and why the Solicitor General came in this case. Look, it's like this, Shiv. If the government of Goa felt that this was a hotly contested case where the defense had brought in extremely experienced senior counsels also to contest the case, there is absolutely nothing wrong for the government of Goa to have reached out to the Solicitor General and to have requested him to have come in and to have appeared in this case. And the Solicitor General, look, he's done a stellar job. He's come in, he's argued the case, and the acquittal has been overturned. And Shiv, we must remember, an acquittal from a trial court is, it reinforces the presumption of innocence against the person, against whom the appeal is filed.
Very true.
So it's a very difficult burden to discharge. So, I mean, now, there obviously some people want to find some political argument, excuse in this. They're clutching at straws. And now to point fingers at the Solicitor General because justice has been served, I think is quite pathetic.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it there. But, I just imagine that Tarun Tejpal must have sort of composed the entire Umar Khalid comment sometime in the morning just to use it after, what happened in court. And once things went south, that's what came out in front of the camera. It's pretty telling, if you ask me. But we'll see where this goes. He's going to appeal in the Supreme Court, and who knows what can happen there. Thank you very much, C. Rajshekharan, Meghna Pant, Jayanand Dehadrai, and Karunanandi for being with me here tonight on Story Number 1 on India Matters. Thank you. The war between the Indian government and Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp, has reached boiling point now. The central government has turned up the heat on Meta in a second round of high-level talks over online safety and platform accountability as part of a larger crossfire that is currently taking place between the government and the tech giant. Government sources have just told NDTV this evening that Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has pressed Meta on algorithmic practices, deepfakes, paid content, and compliance with Indian laws. Meta, sources say, admitted it cannot completely prevent illegal content while assuring the government it is working on stronger safeguards and continuous improvements. The government also made it clear, we are hearing, that non-compliance with the IT Act would put Meta's safe harbor protection, which is a legal insulation, at risk in this country. And we've got breaking news coming in on precisely this face-off between the government and Meta. The new directives that the government has put out to social media platforms, including Meta's Instagram and Facebook, is a 3-hour takedown deadline for objectionable content once it has been notified to the platform. The earlier deadline was 24 to 36 hours. The Indian government has now said you've got 3 hours to pull down that flagged content. The directives apply to deepfakes and AI-generated fake content. Obviously, it's applicable to child sexual abuse material or CSAM and applicable to non-consensual intimate private content. Threatening national security, sovereign platforms risk losing safe harbor protection if violated. Okay, I want to go straight across to NDTV's Bismi, who not only has conducted special investigations that have resulted in Meta responding to NDTV and revealing that they're doing more to improve the algorithm to detect such material and remove it faster, but has also been tracking the government's meetings with Meta and those announcements that have emerged today. This is obviously heating up, Bismi.
That's absolutely right, Shiv. We have seen series of discussions that the Indian government has had with top executives and officials of Meta in the last couple of days, and more discussions are expected to take place in the next 3 to 4 days. And one of the crucial topics that the Indian government has been waiting to discuss with the top executives of Meta is on how their algorithm systems actually work. Because like weeks ago, NDTV had also done a special investigation on not just child sexual abuse material, but also sexually suggestive material, including minors, as well as gangs and gun culture. Now, Meta continues to face the heat from the Indian government on all of these. Now, remember, Shiv, after our story aired, we had reached out to Meta with a series of long questions, 9-10 questions, asking them specifically on how are they planning to, crack down on such notorious content available freely online.
Yeah.
Now, what they have told us exclusively, Shiv, is that they're building new AI, artificial intelligence models that are expected to be rolled down in the next couple of years. These models are expected, they say, to be smarter in taking down content. They have also acknowledged in front of us, Shiv, is that the current automated systems cannot handle nuance as expected. Now, nuance is important, Shiv, primarily because, their current system understands straightforward patterns. Right? But however, they need to come up with smarter response systems in order to handle all of the CSAM, deepfake, and AI generated content.
Okay.
Over to you.
Okay. Bismi, thanks very much for that very important update, because it's Bismi's reporting that has triggered this response from Meta. And I want to summarize that for you, these new child safety AI mechanisms that have been put in place now according to Meta. That's what they're telling NDTV's Bismi. More efficient AI detection of child sexual exploitation, AI models to analyze intent, content and tone, AI to be updated faster to track new code words, continues to use AI and machine learning to detect child abuse advertisements. That was the subject matter of a BBC and an NDTV investigation. Limits contact between suspicious adults and teenagers. Blurs explicit images sent to teens. Sextortion warnings in chats as well. So all of these are the subject matter of the second meeting that took place today between Team Meta and the Indian IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Kanchan Gupta, Senior Advisor with the Information and Broadcast Ministry and Senior Journalist, is with me live. Pranesh Prakash, Tech Law and Policy Advisor, one of India's finest voices on all things digital and the internet. Mishi Chaudhary is a tech lawyer who joins us live from the United States. Thanks to all of you for being with me. Kanchan Gupta, to you first. Are these talks going anywhere? The second round of talks took place today. We understand from the government that new stipulations, new guidelines have been shared with these social media companies on fine-tuning their algorithm, complying with lower deadlines in order to, take down objectionable content, which I've just described right now. Where are these talks headed? Are they substantive? Are they meaningful? Are they heading somewhere, sir?
Hello, Shiv. Thank you for inviting me to your show. A very quick response. Yes, I understand the talks have been useful. Whatever would be the outcome of the talks finally would be in the public domain. Right now, much of it is privileged information, as it should be. But what is known and what is obvious is that the government has decided to be extremely tough and not relent to excuses which may be put up by Meta. We heard some of them that your AI tools do not recognize nuance, etc., but that's really not true. If we just look at the instance of the Prime Minister's post being taken down, although this whole affair goes way beyond that one incident, the Meta took more than 4 hours to resolve the issue. Now, there is absolutely no reason why human intervention should take more than 4 hours to resolve a problem as simple as that. So this is something which is unacceptable. And let me also tell you, you just now mentioned about this new 3-hour deadline to take down content, which is either AI-generated deepfake, or it is synthetic, or it is content to do with a person's intimate personal life without that person's consent, etc. There are listed categories for that. This rule had kicked in quite some time ago. But my assessment is that these platforms, they thought that they could play ducks and drakes and not take that deadline seriously.
Okay, fair enough.
So that deadline is now being laid down as something which is non-negotiable.
Understood. So
you have to do it.
So the tough talk, that's happening right now in these meetings, Pranesh, bringing you in on this, obviously happening in the backdrop of a not very friendly atmosphere between the government and Meta. You know, there's the takedown of that video of the Prime Minister. You know, a column was written by the BJP's Amit Malviya today talking about the algorithm and how it amplified certain anti-government voices during the Jantar Mantar protests. There's all of these government versus Meta things which are not very pleasant as far as the government is concerned, that are coloring the talks that are taking place today on the issue of how the algorithm looks at content and takes it down quickly. How do you see this going, Pranesh? Is it meaningful? Is it substantive?
I see this as primarily political. Let me just remind viewers that both you, Shivarur, and Mr. Kanchan Gupta, both of you have had your handles on Twitter blocked thanks to government requests. Now, those you would agree, I'm sure, were political, that you were not spreading fake news and so on, which is what the 2012 Assam riots related takedowns were about. Now, what's happening today and over the past week has nothing to do with the general question of platform governance. If you look at the kinds of questions that MPs asked during the Parliamentary Standing Committee hearings on this, and if you look at what folks like Mr. Malviya are saying, it's clear that the main reason that social media intermediaries are are currently being targeted by the government, and things like Instagram and YouTube in specific, is because the CJP has, for instance, on Instagram, it has 27 million followers, whereas BJP has only 9.6 million followers. And this specifically was raised in the Parliamentary Standing Committee. They did not raise important issues like CSAM ads, which were allowed on Meta's platform. Those weren't the main focus of the hearings. No, the main focus was this: how could Gen Z be allowed, thanks to your algorithms, to get greater audience than us? Now, the problem is it's not, the focus on the algorithms is misplaced. Let me explain why. On Twitter, on X, you can have an algorithmic feed, but you can also have a chronological feed just of the people that you follow.
Yeah.
Now, would the government be satisfied if on Instagram and YouTube and so on, they gave you that same option, they gave all users the same option and said, okay, you just have a video, no special recommendations by us. You can just see the videos of people you followed. That won't satisfy the government because the CJP has almost 3 times as many followers as the BJP does. So that's the crux of the issue. Now, insofar as accountability and transparency goes, the government of India specifically puts in place restrictions on transparency through something called Rule 16 of the 69A rules, by which what the government has asked Meta to remove is not allowed to be made public. And what we know through reporting in The Hindu in April is that Meta has 100% removal record right now over the since February. So anything that any person complains about, say a police officer in Jumri Talaya, complains about, that will be automatically removed, not even vetted and so on. Meta is now gone to automatic removal, according to the Hindu report, and I see that borne out by the claims of censorship that I see on social media. So, and this is censorship of people who are satirizing the government, who are not abusing, people who are not spreading fake news, not using AI and so on. Satire is now the main focus of these kinds of things.
Kanchan Gupta, do you want to reply to Pranesh? He says this is political. It has nothing to do with the algorithm.
I think that's a lot. Look
quickly, then I'll end with Mishi.
Yeah. So very quickly, and I don't mind calling this out. I think it's a load of dishwater which has been dished out over here. The person who was talking such grandiloquently about net freedom, etc., etc., and political abuse, he was complicit in implementing Section 66A when the Congress was in power and when your Twitter handle and my Twitter handle were taken down. Oh, please, we know the whole story. Okay?
I called it unconstitutional.
Let me tell everybody over here that you
I was
were
the first one to do so.
Number one. Number two, when this is not about who has how many followers. You could have, why 27 million? You could have 270 million bots following you. Number three, Meta in its talks has said and has admitted that they got enormous amounts of money to promote what the protesters were putting out, whether it was false, whether it was true, whether it was abusive, whatever. And their algo was fixed in a manner to promote that content and suppress what the government...
Let's hear from Mishi. I'm almost out of time, Kanchanda. Let's hear from Mishi. Yes, Mishi. Mishi's got a big smile on her face. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for giving me at least a chance. I do understand that this incident should have led to a wider inquiry into systemic error rates and remedies for everyone. Instead, the entire official response has been centered on the status of the speaker. Every day, there are ordinary citizens, journalists, civil society organizations, today even leaders of oppositions and parties who are complaining that their handles are being blocked or their reach has been thwarted. We don't get into all of those issues. We don't ask these platforms for transparency. But when a high-profile account occurs, then the formulation, the way we are doing it, it's creating a privileged class of speech. It's not that if it's the prime minister or a public official, we should not look into it more carefully because it can have certain public reach elements which may be important.
Yeah.
But the apparent position that Meta had no business taking down an authorized government post goes too far. Because political leaders are not legally entitled to a categorical immunity from any kind of moderation. And this 3 hours rule is not new. It's from February, they have actually put it out. We are now conflating CSAM with political speech. And that's always a clever thing we do. Bring some categories which nobody will ever object to, and then also talk about some politics and leave actual speakers out.
Okay.
The protection should extend to everybody, all leaders. If we are asking for transparency, then change your law. Stop saying that the government can say whatever they want and also claim confidentiality.
Okay.
That's what has been challenged in the Supreme Court also.
Okay.
We should have transparency for everybody. If your post is being taken down, or Mr. Gupta's post is taken down, why should you not get the same rights quickly, same transparency, which we are asking for other leaders?
Fair enough.
I think that the problem happens, government claims what we are telling you, we are entitled to confidentiality. For all of you other people, you should actually be allowed to be, you should not be allowed to ask questions because some legal reasons come up.
Okay.
A small category which came up even for the Prime Minister's thing, this legal error. This comes for everybody.
Okay.
What do they have?
I'm going to leave it there only because I'm
Just 2 seconds, please. You know, Mishi is an old friend and I take whatever she says, I take it very seriously. This is just to put out over here that there is a mechanism in place. If you feel that platforms are being unfair to you, there is a structured complaint system and it is a time-bound resolution. If you don't get resolution at level
it's
A,
not working,
you can go up to
Mr.
level
Gupta.
B,
You're right,
go up
but
to
GAC
level
is
C.
not working.
I'm going to...
GAC doesn't work.
We need to make that work. I agree with you.
69A is not working either.
I'm going to tell you guys what. You know, this is a very interesting conversation. I hate to cut all of you off because this is substantive and there's going to be a round 3 of discussions for sure between the government and Meta. I promise you, I'll get the 3 of you back and we will continue this discussion here on NDTV. For the moment, however, thank you very much to Pranesh, Kanchan and Mishi for being with me here. Much more coming up after this break.
केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और
मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों, कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है! अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रिकमेंड करता हूं? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
रंग 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 रंगीन रे, देखो कैसे भी हो दिन रंग 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 बना रहे। आगे पीछे ऊपर नीचे होता रहेगा, धूप में भी तेरा रंग बना रहेगा रहेगा रे। रंगा ढंगा अतरंगा रहना तू सतरंगा, जो होना है वो तो होना ही है। रंगीले तू सदा मुस्कुरा, सदा 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 मुस्कुरा। रंग 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 रंगीन रे, देखो कैसे भी हो दिन रंग बना रहे। बोझे पेंट्स रंग बना रहे।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
आपका पार्सल फिर से हमारे घर पे आया है।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
माँ भी हमेशा पी मार्क मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी, ये आपके लिए।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में। P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
सरसों से सरसों।
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
मीठा या नमकीन, चाहे जैसे खाओ, 100% सूजी से बनी आर प्योर वर्मिसेली, स्वादिष्ट, सेहतमंद हर रोज।
पर जब इंसान प्रकृति के साथ सामंजस्य को आत्मसात कर लेता है तो वो मधुर और लालन पोषण करने वाली बन जाती है।
Co-presented by Berger Paints, रंग बना रहे।
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और
मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों, कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
सबके लिए पकौड़े लगा दो,
वो भी बारिश के बिना।
अब राजस्थानी बेसन स्वाद के लिए कुछ भी करेगा।
रिंकू,
हाँ जी,
ये देख
आगे तो चले।
सत श्री अकाल बीजी।
सत श्री अकाल पुत्र।
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और
मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों, कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है! अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रिकमेंड करता हूं? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
रंग 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 रंगीन रे देखो कैसे भी हो दिन रंग 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 बना रहे आगे पीछे ऊपर नीचे होता रहेगा धूप में भी तेरा रंग बना रहेगा रहेगा रे रंगा ढंगा अतरंगा रहना तू सतरंगा जो होना है वो तो होना ही है रंगीले तू सदा मुस्कुरा सदा 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 मुस्कुरा रंग 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 रंगीन रे देखो कैसे भी हो दिन रंग बना रहे बोझे पेंट्स रंग बना रहे
ये लीजिए भाई मैंने बनाया है वैसे तो आपके साथ खाइए ना ऐसे आप कहाँ से हैं हरियाणा कब गए थे लास्ट वहाँ पे 1.5 महीने पे आपकी
पर जब इंसान प्रकृति के साथ सामंजस्य को आत्मसात कर लेता है तो वो मधुर और लालन पोषण करने वाली बन जाती है। पी मार्क सरसों के तेल ने प्राकृतिक तरीके से सरसों के तेल को बनाया है शुद्धता और गुणवत्ता के साथ।
The mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
From the newsroom to the studio to the thick of political action.
Now watching NDTV 24x7, the hope is that beyond this election, this will be one of the major issues.
याद है ना मैंने क्या
seem to be turning a corner, trade flowing, ministers shaking hands, talk of a genuine reset. Sheikh Hasina, the former Prime Minister, who's now in exile in India, has reignited the fire. Speaking to the media virtually from Delhi on the second anniversary of the uprising that toppled her, the ousted leader announced her intention to return to Bangladesh in December, saying that she is ready to face arrest or any consequence. Now, Dhaka isn't holding back. Bangladesh's foreign ministry says that they're outraged, calling the moment an affront to the nation's sovereignty and revealing that it had warned India in advance about the risk to bilateral ties. Tonight, the question is stark. Can two neighbors survive one voice? Sheikh Hasina speaking from exile, because the differences once again between Dhaka and Delhi appear stark indeed. Now, why is this important, and how is this very much in variance with what we saw a couple of months back? In his first interview after he became foreign minister to the Indian media, the foreign minister of Bangladesh spoke to me in Mauritius, where he spoke about the need for a strategic reset and how past differences between India and Bangladesh needed to be resolved. It appears that Dhaka was keen on this strategic reset. The question is, Sheikh Hasina's conference, how does this impact the path of the relationship? Remember, the Prime Minister is expected in India next month.
Like any other relationship, there have been bumps along the road. And at times we went off track. But it is the job of responsible leadership to bring it back on track. So that is what we are trying to do. And we are trying to do it not in terms of just tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We are looking at a relationship that is based on mutual trust and is for mutual benefit of our peoples.
So you heard that positive tone over there, the Bangladesh foreign minister, in that very important interview, the first that he's done with the Indian media. But now this is the statement which came in yesterday from the Bangladesh foreign ministry. Bangladesh is outraged that the absconding convicted genocider Sheikh Hasina was allowed this evening to engage in live interactions with the media in Delhi, where she and her henchmen launched venomous vitriol against the state of Bangladesh and her people. Dhaka deeply regrets that, in spite of concerns conveyed a priority to the government of India about the likely ramifications of this event and the reset of our bilateral relations, this public event was permitted to be held on a day when the people of Bangladesh are observing the second anniversary of the July Revolution. This interaction by Sheikh Hasina on Indian soil stands as an affront to the sovereignty of Bangladesh and a grievous insult to the martyrs of the July Revolution. So that's where the relationship now is, and that is a problem indeed. Well, let's go straight across now to our panelists. I'm joined by the former High Commissioner of India to Dhaka, Veena Sikri. I'm also joined by Mohammad Kamruzaman, senior journalist. I'm joined by Dr. Brahma Chalani and Major Razaul Karim. Thank you all very much for being with us. Ma'am, let me come to you first, Ambassador Sikri. There seemed to be so much hope and optimism just a couple of months back when the Bangladesh Foreign Minister spoke to me in Mauritius. It appears that by letting this press conference take place and coming just as it does a month ahead of the proposed visit or the possible visit of the Bangladesh Prime Minister to India, it seems that, you know, we are many steps back from where we were. Would you agree?
No, I don't quite agree, Vishnu, and let me explain this. I think that the quote that you have given, that you showed just now in the visual of Foreign Minister Khalilur Rahman is perhaps the only thing that he's ever said positive about India. Let me tell you that as we speak today, our High Commissioner in Dhaka has been waiting for a meeting with Prime Minister Tariq Rahman for more than a month. And it's the same Foreign Minister who refused to let our High Commissioner call on Tariq Rahman till as long as he returned from New York and the call took place on him first. So actually, despite Tariq Rahman meeting Sergio Gore over the weekend, our High Commissioner is still waiting for a meeting, number one. Number two, let me say that our Ministry of External Affairs has made it very clear that this was a meeting by a private entity yesterday, and they do not endorse what is being said is something that is entirely the responsibility of those private entities. And I was there in that press conference, I must tell you. And former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina made a statement. It was okay. The moment she agreed to answer questions herself, that was quite an electrifying moment. And the international media, the national media, there in full force, they responded very well. At the very same time, in Bangladesh, and I would like to raise 2 points, very important points in the press note of the Ministry of External Affairs of Bangladesh you spoke to. First of all, it's the press note. It's not directed at India. It's a general note for everybody. If they were wanting to take up something with India, it would have been a diplomatic note addressed to India and talked about directly with India in a polite manner, not in this manner through a public press note, number one. Number two, the press note accuses the government of India of not accepting Bangladesh's request for extradition of Sheikh Hasina. But now Sheikh Hasina herself wants to go back. So isn't that a contradiction? If she wants to go back, the government of Bangladesh should receive her and allow her to make her appeal. It's the number one.
I understand what you're saying. But is the relationship between India and Bangladesh not caught up in this tutu meme, which is what it was? And it just seemed that we were moving away from that.
Let me give you
a conversation with me a few months back in Mauritius. The Bangladesh Foreign Minister, who you referred to, was entirely positive about the need for a strategic reset. In fact, you just heard him and what he had to say. That's a small excerpt. It just seems sad that we are now in this situation as close neighbors. Why must we once again be here?
No, but Vishnu, if I may just complete what I was saying just one more minute. I think that words have to be matched by actions. And the foreign minister, when he was in India before going to Mauritius, he called it a stopover. He was not serious. And secondly, the Indian government has told him that they are prepared to receive. But Prime Minister Tariq Rahman had made an assurance that India would be his first port of call. He did not do that. Secondly, Prime Minister Tariq Rahman goes to China and agrees to projects which he knows are very sensitive for India. And Sheikh Hasina had given these projects to India because of our security concerns. But he immediately goes and agrees to give them to China. So there are questions, and the answer is to have direct talks and for Prime Minister Tariq Rahman to make a visit to India. He has not shown any indication of coming either for the BRICS summit or for any other reason.
No, that's not my information.
And I think that
as of 48 hours back, they were going to come. As of 48 hours back, when I spoke to my sources, they were very confident that this visit would take place. They were looking optimistically at the possibility of, figuring or taking the relationship forward. Whether that happens or not is a separate issue.
I think there's a second point I want to make about that press note. Secondly, they're talking about the second anniversary of the July uprising. You know, what is the July uprising? The world knows it was not a student uprising. It was a carefully planned regime change operation. So what 2nd July uprising are you talking about? 5th August uprising. Yesterday in Dhaka, the acting president of Bangladesh, had a function on the occasion of the 2nd anniversary of what they call the July uprising. And when they showed a documentary film, in the presence of the entire diplomatic corps, you had members of the BNP and the Students' Party, NCP, coming to fisticuffs. Right. And the entire diplomatic corps walked. Okay. Is this what is happening inside?
Okay, hold on for okay, points. Let me go across to Mohammed Kamruzaman. Mr. Kamruzaman, you know, other than the differences which Ambassador Sikri has pointed out, you know, on the path, on where exactly the relationship between the two countries are, would you suggest that there is a willingness in Dhaka to actually engage Delhi? Or is the relationship between the two sides being held hostage to what Sheikh Hasina says and doesn't say?
Thank you very much, Vishnu, for a nice question. Actually, Ma'am Sikri explained from her point of view. Fact is that now a regime led by Tariq Rahman is running this country. So there are some factors he or this government will try to run this country based on their own strategy. And Sheikh Hasina, as you already mentioned that in the foreign ministry's media statement or press release, Sheikh Hasina has been mentioned as absconding genocider in the note. So Sheikh Hasina on the day, which is very much sensitive and very much emotional day, 5 August, and you know that according to United Nations reports, more than 1,400 people killed. So these days, there were plans to observe, and on that day, actually, Sheikh Hasina came for the first time, engaged in view exchange with journalists. So that was a little bit disturbing according to the statement and according to the diplomats here. So it's of course, as a sovereign country, Bangladesh will react this way, so it's very natural. If you think from your point of view as a sovereign country of India, of course, your reaction was the same if this type of happening happened.
All right. I just want to, before resuming this conversation, go through a couple of points which I've jotted down on the ties between India and Dhaka. It is in a flux right now. There are areas of difference and convergence. So what exactly are these? So, well, both countries remain deeply tied by economic and energy interdependence. That's illustrated by India's continued diesel supplies to Bangladesh via the Bangladesh-India Friendship Pipeline from Numaligarh refinery. Both countries continue to prioritize core economic infrastructure and cross-border security cooperation. This continues despite the political upheaval of recent times. There is diplomatic engagement which has been taking place at a very serious level as well at senior levels, high-level visits. Both sides have publicly emphasized the need for a positive, constructive and forward-looking partnership after the BNP took office. There are divergences as well, and these are really important issues where there doesn't seem to be an agreement anywhere on the cards. Water sharing remains a flashpoint, with the 1996 Ganges Treaty expiring in December and the long-stalled Teesta River Accord still unresolved. Border security tensions persist. These include deadly incidents like the killing of a Bangladeshi national by India's Border Security Force in April this year, rising infiltration disputes as well. There are also recurring diplomatic frictions, summons of Indian officials over perceived mistreatment of Bangladeshi officials, and controversial remarks by some leaders in our country reflecting lingering mistrust and divergent domestic political currents. That really is where we are at right now, including concerns in India, as Ambassador Sikri was mentioning, over China's growing influence in Dhaka. In fact, let me go back to Dr. Brahma Chelani at this stage. Dr. Chelani, is it increasingly difficult for India to accept that the reality in Bangladesh is very different from what it was 2 years ago, and that perhaps it's time to move on, that a lot of the concerns that we have stated, right, for example, the persecution of minorities, their affiliation with China, these are things that we will need to contend with, but the entire relationship needs to be looked at holistically? Or do you believe that these concerns are where, as far as Delhi is concerned, we need to stop?
these issues need to be addressed on a continuing basis. You're right about that. But I disagree with your characterization of the import of Sheikh Hasina's remarks. Nor do I agree with your characterization of India-Bangladesh relations being on the mend and Sheikh Hasina's remarks now acting as a spoiler. No, the conflict is not between New Delhi and Dhaka. What we are seeing is a conflict between Sheikh Hasina and Tariq Rahman's government about historical framing, because historical framing defines the legitimacy of the present BNP government. The current BNP government's legitimacy rests on the July-August so-called mass uprising. Hasina's counter-narrative, as she laid out in an address to the Foreign Correspondents Club, is that her ouster was not spontaneous, but an orchestrated foreign-assisted regime change operation. And in fact, it was Mohammad Yunus himself who, in the presence of Bill Clinton in September 2024, said in New York that the campaign to overthrow Hasina was not spontaneous, but meticulously designed and put into action. In fact, he went on to say, it is not just that suddenly it came, the so-called uprising. It's not like that, he said. He said it was very well designed. And then, and it's because of that he granted blanket immunity to anti-Hasina protesters for crimes they committed, including murder, arson, vandalism, and attacks on minorities. So what Hasina is doing is undermining the legitimacy of Tariq Rahman's government, because this government took office in an election.
Right. So, Dr. Chelani, my question is this, and I understand everything that you're saying, but I'm just trying to tell you that is it incumbent upon India to be perceived as the country that backs Sheikh Hasina for her political problems with the current dispensation with Tariq Rahman's government in Bangladesh? Is that our job? Or is it our job to go beyond the past differences, accept that one way or the other there is a new dispensation that we need to engage with?
Vishnu, you are putting the blame on the Indian government as if the Indian government.
No, I'm asking whether the Indian government needs to go beyond.
No, you're alluding to the fact that she was invited by the Foreign Correspondents Club of South Asia. Did the government of India have a role in that, in the invitation to Sheikh Hasina? Did the government of India have a role in what she said? She is a person residing in India. She was sent to India, not at India's invitation. She was put on a military plane and sent to India. By whom? By the present Army Chief of Bangladesh. Did he consult with India before he sent Sheikh Hasina to India?
I'm sure he did, sir.
I mean, no. India learned about
do you think India would allow a military aircraft with the Prime Minister of a country to come over here?
Yes.
It was obviously something done by Delhi because she supported us in the past.
She was bundled onto an aircraft bound for India, and then New Delhi
she was going to be lynched otherwise.
She's coming to India.
Okay, fair enough. But, all right. Major Raza, respond to the point that Dr. Chelani said, because I think there's a lot of merit in that when he says that, look, in our country, which is a free country, if anybody chooses to hold a press conference, then who is the government of India to stop that process?
Okay, fine. If I agree with your point, then I have a logic. That is, see, I just give on prelude. That is the 5th July, 5th August is a heroic day for some group of parties and also the common people of Bangladesh. And again, it's opposite for Awami League. So the way Veena Sikri, I want to reply Veena Sikri, the one she was telling that she is claiming that this 5th August, this is kind of something wrong happened with Sheikh Hasina. She's ignoring the big number of people of Bangladesh who had had been agitated against the fascism of Sheikh Hasina, and thereby, after having the influence of police, then law enforcing agencies, army, BGB, a lot of forces were there in favor of Sheikh Hasina. Yet, Sheikh Hasina could not resist those people's pressure. Thereby, she had to leave. So you can understand the pressure of the people and the involvement of the number of people. It was huge. So the 5th August is a kind of day where the upholding of the spirit of July Revolution actually it's a big sentimental issue. So on that same day, Sheikh Hasina could do that press release, press briefing any other day for last 2 years.
No, but why blame India for that? I think that's the point that Dr. Chelani was saying. Why does that press note?
I'm coming to the point. I'm coming to you. Just a second. So Sheikh Hasina could do it. There are a lot of time, but my point is there. Yes, India. It would be really nice if India could do it for all. Like in the year of 2018, when Mr. Lord Alex Carlyle, one of the lawyer of Madam Khaleda Zia, our ex-prime minister, so Madam Khaleda Zia, she hired one lawyer from UK who was trying to reach Bangladesh, and then Sheikh Hasina did not allow. Then later on, he chose to land up in Delhi, and he from the Delhi airport he was deported back to London, and he could not do the press briefing. So my question is there, on that same time, it was quite necessary for Begum Khaleda Zia. She was in the jail. She was she had been suffering with a lot of issues, and she was also.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. That Delhi has been picking its sides, right? And Delhi has been all right. So that okay. One sec. Okay, Ambassador Sikri, respond to that.
Well, I will say very clearly that I do not know, I remember the incident he's talking about, but let me also remind you of another fact, that if you say that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is saying all this in India and should not be allowed, when Prime Minister Tariq Rahman was living in London for 17 years, he was saying this daily. He was in touch with his people in Bangladesh on a daily basis, speaking to them, addressing them, saying things about various things which nobody objected to. But I am talking specifically of this.
Madam, this cannot be compared. Actually, see, Sheikh Hasina, she's in Delhi for 2 years. And Tariq Rahman, he was in London for 17 years.
No, but what difference does that make, sir?
Had no connection with that.
If he can make statements, then why can't she? Is the point that the ambassador is trying to make.
And secondly, I would like to say that India has a very long tradition of respecting its guests. The Honorable Dalai Lama has been living in India for decades, and he's been completely free. He's been making all his statements, and he's making whatever he'd like to do. We have never raised an objection, and we are continuing our relationship with China. We have our relationship with China. We discuss with them. We have differences. We have difficult times. We have good times. It's going on. So I think we should please be mature. And if Bangladesh wants to show interest in developing relations with India, they have had every opportunity to do this. And they have not taken any opportunity. They have not taken any opportunity.
I just want to add one line with you. See,
why should the Prime Minister of Bangladesh refuse to meet the Indian High Commissioner for so many months? It is unprecedented. When Prime Minister Khaleda Zia was Prime Minister in Bangladesh and I was High Commissioner, there were differences between the government, but I can tell you, she never refused me a meeting even once. I met her within a few days.
I think that's an important point. In fact, Mohammad Kamruzaman, why don't you respond to that? The ambassador the High Commissioner we've appointed, to Dhaka is a very senior political leader. The appointment of Dinesh Trivedi was meant to take the relationship between Dhaka and Delhi to give it some added political impetus and sort of drive the relationship over there. But if these meetings have been denied so many months after his appointment, what will New Delhi be left but to believe?
Thank you very much. Actually, this should be answered by the top of government, maybe foreign minister or any other.
No, well, they aren't here. I'm asking you for your opinion. Yes. If they were here, rest assured, I would have asked them.
Okay. Let me just answer one point. Then I am coming to this point. Just a few seconds. Actually, Tariq Rahman is staying in London and Sheikh Hasina is staying in India, totally different, because Tariq Rahman went there after huge torturing in police custody, after reported human rights violation on Tariq Rahman. But Sheikh Hasina fled to India in the wake of a mass uprising, after genocidal acts, after huge mass killing. So these two incidents should not be compared as Bina Sikri did. So this is my point of the previous. Now, actually, of course, the government already said in the statement issued yesterday by the foreign ministry that Bangladesh want to develop relationship with all other neighboring countries based on mutual interest, based on dignity, but not Bangladesh is not interested to be a client state of any country. Maybe it means that.
But where is Bangladesh,
country, but of course,
India's client state, when you are going to China? As your primary, possibly your primary economic partner. That's your choice. But where is the issue of client state?
No. For example, Bina Sikri ma'am said about maybe the Tista barrage that Bangladesh is developing ties with China on Tista barrage. But before that, many years, Bangladesh desperately tried to come to a conclusion on China project that is so much sensitive for us, because I visited that point many times for reporting, and a huge part of Bangladesh is becoming desert. Huge number of people are suffering. So China, India is ignoring. So
All right. Look, I'm completely out of time on this. I just hope that the recent developments don't result in a postponement of the visit of the Bangladeshi Prime Minister over here. And I do hope that impetus in the relationship, which I do believe was beginning to show quite clearly, is restored. And it's sad in a sense that all of us here are discussing this theme. But it is what it is. We'll see where it goes. I'd like to thank all of you very much for being with us. Out of time on this program. For the moment, for all of us here, goodbye.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है।
अरे मेरे राजा,
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रेकमेंड करता हूं? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles, और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
When others are warming up, I'm raring to go. The stories that matter, the stories that shape your life.
Hello and welcome to watching Prime 5 with me, Raisha Saigal. What's happening? How to
The show that sets the prime time agenda.
We'll be deep diving into this topic to tell you what's at stake.
Join me, Raisha Saigal, on Prime 5 only on NDTV 24x7.
ये लीजिए भाई, मैंने बनाया है ब्रेड आपके साथ, खाइए ना प्लीज। आप कहाँ से हैं? हरियाणा। कब गए थे लास्ट वहाँ पे? 1.5 महीने पे। आपकी फैमिली है? बच्चे हैं? 3 साल। मिस करते होंगे आप उन्हें ना? बहुत। फैमिली विजिट करने अलाउड है? श्रीनगर तक अलाउड। 1 हफ्ते की शूटिंग के बाद मुझे घर की याद आ जाती है। See, the sacrifice is unbelievable, you know.
From the newsroom to the studio to the thick of political action.
Now watching NDTV 24/7, the hope is that beyond this election, this will be one of the major issues. With multiple challengers in the fray, the TMC also has done a bit of rejigging. Remember, this is also a district that has been plagued by communal violence. Come to some of the sabhas that the BJP is also organizing, especially in the villages of West Bengal.
When stories have impact,
Padmaja Joshi, managing editor and primetime anchor.
then news has influence. The buck stops here with Padmaja Joshi.
your work is being watched by people, you think that you're making an impact in this time, I think that's really a huge validation, very rewarding, and I'm pretty certain that Team NDTV will go from strength to strength.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
The GIFT City in Gujarat stands at the heart of India's global ambition and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision to connect India's growth with global capital. How far has the idea progressed and what remains to be done? Finance and policy leaders weigh the challenges and map the road ahead. HSBC, a pioneer at GIFT City, and NDTV present Global Connect, only on NDTV. Celebrating excellence across journalism and innovation, NDTV steals the spotlight at the 12th BCS Ratna Awards 2025-26. Best English News Channel of the Year, NDTV 24x7. Best News App of the Year, NDTV. Best Election Coverage of the Year, West Bengal Election Coverage. Best Podcast Show of the Year, NDTV Control All Defense. Best Primetime Anchor of the Year, Syed Suhail. Best Female Anchor of the Year, Vasudha Venugopal. Best On-Ground Coverage of the Year, Operation Sindoor Coverage. NDTV, the network of impact. The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindoor.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France, in Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
This is the show where we bring you all the hot and happenings from the world of entertainment and lifestyle.
Really?
Fashion that made you gag. Films that made you fangirl. Art that made it to the gram, and trends that kept us with the program.
Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to a brand new show. I am your host Mayank Chaudhary and this is Limelight.
Launch control 0 to 100.
This isn't just about cars and bikes. This is about how you move. This car makes no sense, yet it makes every sense. What we are sitting inside is a
Hello and welcome. You're watching News Night with me, Raisha Sehgal. There's lots planned for you on the show, but first, the headlines. RSS chief's big Gen Z outreach in Mumbai. Mohan Bhagwat interacts with over 2,000 students, says protesting doesn't make Gen Z anti-national.
Today I learned the expression from you of what I am saying like this.
Servers, आप करिए साथ में करते clock it.
Government cracks the whip on Meta, asks the tech platform to remove objectionable content in 3 hours, forms strict norms for social media platforms and warns failure to compliance will result in losing safe harbor. Former Tehelka editor Tarun Tejpal has been sentenced to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment in the 2013 Goa rape case. The Bombay High Court had overturned his acquittal and Tejpal is now set to challenge the verdict in the Supreme Court. Modi government builds consensus on delimitation bill. Sources tell NDTV that the centre has reached out to India bloc allies. Talks on with Congress, SP and NCP. Minister Kiran Rijiju urges Rahul Gandhi to back the bill. Amid growing buzz over possible political entry, actor Dhanush reignites language war in Tamil Nadu, stressing that one's mother tongue should come before everything else. He said not knowing Tamil is an insult, urged people to learn Tamil. And we're starting off with some breaking news right now. FCRA outreach meeting has ended while the Christian community demands a withdrawal of the bill. The government, according to sources, has made it clear that there will not be any amendments to the bill. Furthermore, sources say that the government will seek passage of the existing bill in its current form. All this at a time when we are learning that the FCRA bill will be tabled in the Parliament on August 12th. And a short while ago, we also had Union Home Minister Amit Shah meeting with the Christian communities here in New Delhi to bust all kind of myths regarding the FCRA bill. The government has clearly said that FCRA bill will be brought in to rather look into the transparency of the funds that come into India. I want to go across to my colleague Akhilesh Mamundas. Akhilesh, the outreach to the INDIA bloc allies that has ended right now. We've also had Union Home Minister Amit Shah meeting the Christian minorities, and all this at a time when the FCRA bill is all set to be tabled on August 12th. What are we looking at right now?
Well, the argument given by the Christian organizations was that this bill should not be implemented with the retrospective effect, on which the government sources have told them very clearly that there is no provision in the current form of the bill that the implementation will be done with the retrospective effect. This is what government has told the Christian organizations very clearly, to which some of them are very satisfied, but some are objecting to some clauses of the bill. They are saying that either this bill should be withdrawn completely or it should be referred to a joint parliamentary committee. But the government sources have told NDTV that the government has no proposal as of now to bring any amendment in the current form of the bill. They are saying that this bill was introduced in March this year in the Lok Sabha, and the government would try to get this bill passed next week, most likely the 12th of August. They are also saying that this bill was first moved by the UPA government, where Sonia Gandhi was the key figure as far as the UPA government was concerned. So there's no question of, the Christian organizations opposing this bill in its current form. They are also saying that last year, the foreign donation received to various Indian organizations was up to tune of 18,000 crore rupees, out of which only 3,000 crore rupees was given to the Christian organizations. So not a lot of amount was given to them. So they should not be worried about that the government is targeting them. There is no such thing that the government has any intention to target any particular religious group.
And the government, sources telling us the government is going to pass the bill without any kind of amendments. Thanks very much, Akhilesh. We'll be tracking this story very closely with you. In other news, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has reached out to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, saying dissent is not anti-national and protests are a part of democracy. He said the youth seek logical answers and dialogue can help build consensus. Gen Z's clock it gesture by Bhagwat during the interaction has also gone viral.
Today I learned the expression from you of what I am saying like this.
Service, आप करिए साथ में करते clock it.
Bhagwat also touched upon key social issues, asserting that reservation should remain a tool for upliftment and inclusion. He also said that LGBTQ+ community is a part of the society and spoke about the importance of recognizing women as equal partners in nation building.
सोशल कारणों से रिजर्वेशन है, सोशल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जब तक है रिजर्वेशन चलेगा. जिनको मिल गया और जिनका ठीक हो गया उनको उतना लार्ज हार्टेड चाहिए, उन्होंने दे देना चाहिए. तो देयर इज ए स्ट्रीम in those who get the reservations that this is for our upliftment, this is not the permanent measure, and we have to take advantage of this, improve ourselves and make this useful for others, those who have got here. The existing system, if we disturb, and new systems we don't have, that will create a conflict. Secondly, we cannot mix these things. We have to prepare the society first, because laws don't dictate society. Society dictates the laws. And at this stage, if we tamper with so instead of that, prepare a system which can accommodate all these people. They are part of the society. In all the organizations that Swayamsevaks are running, women are shouldering responsibilities with men in equal capacities. Except RSS, there is a reason. When RSS started, if we had started the organization in women also, we wouldn't have thrived. But in apex body of RSS, Akhil Bharatiya Pratin Sabha, all the women working in the public field, they are also invited in the process of decision making. They are there for full 3 days.
Now let's talk about the Gen Z demography for 2029 polls and how India's Gen Z population fares against the rest of the world. So India's Gen Z electoral power, because by 2029, that's when India votes in the general elections next, the Gen Z will be a huge electorate. So when we talk about India's Gen Z leads in numbers, but several countries have a larger youth voting bloc. So this clearly means that despite India having 407 million Gen Z population, its electorate falls short. Its electorate is, as you can see here, 29.2%. That's the Gen Z voter electorate right now in India. When we compare that to other countries, despite the other countries' Gen Z population might be smaller, its electorate is high. For example, let's look at China here. The Gen Z population is at 264 million, but its voting electorate stands at 16.8%. Hence, it gives a lowdown that the Gen Z population here in India are an extremely crucial voting bloc in the 2029 election, with 407 million Gen Z population in India, but the electorate stands at 29.2%. All right. Well, the Bombay High Court has sentenced Tarun Tejpal to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment and a fine of 5 lakh rupees in the 2013 rape case. Earlier today, the Bombay High Court convicted him for raping a junior colleague in 2013 when she worked under him at Tehelka magazine. Tejpal has said that he will approach the High Court and call the conviction politically motivated and said that he is being framed in a false case. He even drew parallel with Umar Khalid and said that he is being treated like them. Tejpal has been charged with rape by a person in a position of authority and assault with the intent to disrobe the victim. A woman journalist had accused Tejpal of sexually assaulting her in a hotel elevator November 7th and November 8th, 2013, that is during the Goa Think Fest. Mother of the survivor has welcomed the verdict and said that it has lifted a heavy weight from her heart.
We are very disappointed. We believe the evidence in the case has not been appreciated. We believe there is enough evidence to very, very clearly exonerate him not once or twice, but 10 times over. मैंने जज को बोला, आप लोग जो कोर्ट में थे आपने सुना होगा, मैंने बोला मैं एक पॉलिटिकल विक्टिम हूँ, मेरे को तहलका की जो पत्रकारिता है उसके चलते हुए मेरे को पीछे 13 साल से सरकार पड़ी है और मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ इसमें, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो सरकार की नीतियों से या मानते नहीं या वाकिफ नहीं है ज्यादा, उन लोगों की भी सरकार पड़ जाती है। इस टाइप की सरकार है, हमारी सरकार है, आपकी भी है, मेरी भी है। क्या तो ये पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड है कह रहे हैं आप? 100%। ठीक है ना, हम लोग बिल्कुल नाखुश हैं इस जजमेंट से। हमें लगता है कि बेंच ने हमारा जो अप्रिशिएट नहीं किया है, तो हम लोग उसको अपील कर देंगे, आपको बताते रहेंगे कि 3 होगा तब 3 होगा, वो तो टाइम बताएगा ना, आपको एडवांस में कैसे हम बताते हैं? 13 साल से 4 उन लोगों की सरकार बढ़ जाती है। इस टाइप की सरकार है, हमारी सरकार है, आपकी भी है, मेरी भी है। पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड है, सरकार आपको बता देगी, बताता रहेगा।
Mr. Sawant, thank you very much for joining us here on NDTV. Your first reaction, I remember as a reporter in 2013 covering this case, and it has taken 13 years. It is Goa police and the prosecution that the family is thanking for their relentless pursuit in this case. Your first reaction, please.
ये तो न्याय की जीत है। सबसे पहले मैं मेरे डायरेक्टर ऑफ प्रोसिक्यूशन और पुलिस फोर्स इनको कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करूंगा। दे आर कंटिन्यूअसली फॉलो अप दिस केस एंड दे गॉट मैंने उनको न्याय मिला, इसलिए मैं वो कहूंगा कि न्याय की जीत है। मैं वो युवती का साहस और दृढ़ता इसको भी नमन करता हूँ। कंटिन्यूअसली फॉर लास्ट 13 इयर्स वो हिम्मत से डटी रही और आज उस युवती को न्याय मिला। सही में ये अपराध तो हमारी गोवा की धरती पे हुआ था, इसलिए ये गोवा सरकार का यानी हमारी पहले डेफिनेटली हमारी ये रही कि गोवा पुलिस और डीओपी उसको न्याय दे। इसीलिए हमने यानी नीचे की कोर्ट में उसको राहत मिली थी, फिर भी वी हैव चैलेंज दिस केस इन द हाई कोर्ट और आज टुडे द हाई कोर्ट हैज गिवन द कन्विक्शन फॉर द तरुण तेजपाल। दिस इज रियली द विक्ट्री of the government also and victory of in this case.
Listen in to some other reactions that have also been poured in after Tarun Tejpal has been sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Yeah. See, the judgment has still not been uploaded. So once we go through the judgment and find the reasons, we will be able to comment on how it is. So he's been convicted for all the offences that he was charged for, and he has been sentenced to 10 years rigorous imprisonment and a fine of 5 lakhs. That is the maximum, that because it has to be done concurrently.
Moving on, former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has now broken her silence in a high-profile virtual interview, declaring that she intends to return to Bangladesh despite the possibility of imprisonment or even death. Her remarks have now triggered a sharp political and diplomatic reaction, with Bangladesh condemning the event, while India has clarified that it had no role in organizing the interaction. The controversy comes just ahead of a crucial BRICS summit, adding another layer of complexity to already sensitive India-Bangladesh ties.
Former Bangladesh PM Sheikh Hasina's first virtual interaction since her August 2024 ouster has sparked massive diplomatic waves. Speaking to NDTV's Aditya Raj call, Hasina made it clear she plans to return despite facing the death penalty at home.
You had given us an interview where you first revealed that you will be going back to your homeland in December this year. But I also want to communicate. Your son just said that, there's no communication happening with the government. But would you want some kind of a back channel with the government before you revisit and return to your homeland? Or would you want some kind of a mediation to happen from any, neutral party or any neutral country? I ask this especially because today and yesterday, the Bangladesh government has put a blanket ban on your speeches and statements. So how would you intend to now communicate with your own people back in Bangladesh? Thank you very much.
It's a friendly country. They always remain as a friend. But I want to go back to my own country. So I believe that I should go. I'm going for my people. It is not the matter of government. I may be sent to prison. They may try to enforce verdicts issued in fabricated cases.
Hasina stated she was never ready to leave the country, adding that her primary focus remains returning to her people regardless of who's in power. The backlash in Dhaka was immediate. Petrol bomb targeted the home of cricketer Shakib Ali Hassan hours after he joined her virtual event. In a sharply worded press release, the Bangladesh's Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed absolute outrage over the event. It explicitly labelled Hasina as an absconding convicted genocider and a convicted mass murderer who launched venomous vitriol against the state of Bangladesh. New Delhi has earlier distanced itself from the controversy.
The interaction that you are referring to is being organized by a private media entity. The government has no involvement whatsoever in it. Neither does it endorse any views that may be expressed at the forum.
The high-stakes row comes at a highly sensitive time. India has invited Bangladesh Prime Minister Tariq Rahman to New Delhi for the upcoming BRICS summit later this month. Amid the diplomatic friction, Hasina's son Sajid Bazit Joy issued a stark warning to the region.
What should concern India most is Bangladesh has become another Pakistan on India's eastern side. You have another Pakistan today on your eastern front. This does not portend well for India and the world at large.
While Hasina retains a core support, domestic anger against a past regime remains intense. The upcoming BRICS summit will now test the limits of Dhaka's diplomatic outreach to New Delhi and whether Tariq Rahman can balance domestic anti-Hasina sentiment with regional diplomacy. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
On that note, we're slipping into a very short break. Come right back. Lots for light up.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा मसाला।
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रिकमेंड करता हूँ? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles, और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
When others are warming up, I'm raring to go. The stories that matter, the stories that shape your life.
Hello and welcome to watching Prime 5 with me, Raisha Sehgal. What's happening? How to?
The show that sets the prime time agenda.
We'll be deep diving into this topic to tell you what's at stake.
Join me, Raisha Sehgal, on Prime 5, only on NDTV 24x7.
ये लीजिए भाई, मैंने बनाया है ब्रेड आपके साथ, खाइए ना। ऐसे आप कहाँ से हैं? हरियाणा। कब गए थे लास्ट वहाँ पे? 1.5 महीने पे। आपकी फैमिली है? बच्चे हैं? 3 साल। मिस करते होंगे आप उन्हें ना? बहुत। फैमिली विजिट करने अलाउड है? श्रीनगर तक अलाउड। 1 हफ्ते की शूटिंग के बाद मुझे घर की याद आ जाती है। See, the sacrifice is unbelievable, you know.
From the newsroom to the studio to the thick of political action.
You're watching NDTV 24x7. The hope is that beyond this election, this will be one of the major issues. With multiple challengers in the fray, the TMC also has done a bit of rejigging. Remember, this is also a district that has been plagued by communal violence. Come to some of the sabhas that the BJP is also organizing, especially in the villages of West Bengal.
When stories have impact.
Padmaja Joshi, managing editor and primetime anchor.
Then news has influence. The buck stops here with Padmaja Joshi.
Your work is being watched by people. You think that you're making an impact in this time. I think that's really a huge validation, very rewarding, and I'm pretty certain that Team NDTV will go from strength to strength.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
The gift city in Gujarat stands at the heart of India's global ambition and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision to connect India's growth with global capital. How far has the idea progressed and what remains to be done? Finance and policy leaders weigh the challenges and map the road ahead. HSBC, a pioneer at Gift City, and NDTV present Global Connect, only on NDTV. Celebrating excellence across journalism and innovation, NDTV steals the spotlight at the 12th BCS Ratna Awards 2025-26. Best English News Channel of the Year, NDTV 24x7. Best News App of the Year, NDTV. Best Election Coverage of the Year, West Bengal Election Coverage. Best Podcast.
Now very difficult to communicate with the country's own leader. The statement has only deepened the mystery surrounding Mujtaba Khamenei, who has remained out of public view for nearly 6 months since assuming Iran's highest office, and was even missing from his father's funeral procession. So, where is the man leading one of West Asia's most powerful nations? Here's more.
Six months into his tenure, Iran's new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, continues to remain out of public view. His prolonged absence has fueled speculation over Iran's leadership dynamics following the death of former supreme leader Ali Khamenei earlier this year. Now Iran's president Masoud Pezeshkian has publicly acknowledged the challenge. Pezeshkian said communication with the supreme leader is very difficult at the moment, but insisted that Mujtaba Khamenei's leadership remains a source of strength for the country.
و خب این کار بسیار وحشیانه‌ای که انجام گرفت. البته تصور نمی‌کردن این جامعه این کشور بتونه ادامه پیدا بکنه. ولی خب ادامه پیدا کرد. رهبر جدید عزیز ما دوباره انتخاب شد. امکان ارتباط با ایشون الان خیلی سخته. ولی به هر حال بودنش نقطه قوت بسیار بالایی است برای ما.
The secrecy surrounding Mujtaba Khamenei has also attracted international attention. According to reports published by The Times, US and Israeli intelligence agencies are trying to determine his whereabouts. The report says intelligence agencies believe Mujtaba Khamenei has adopted extraordinary security precautions and avoids digital communications, making him difficult to track. The uncertainty comes at a critical moment for West Asia. Iran is engaged in sensitive diplomatic and security discussions, including negotiations with Oman over Hormuz. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रेकमेंड करता हूं? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
When others are warming up, I'm raring to go. The stories that matter, the stories that shape your life.
Hello and welcome to watching Prime 5 with me, Raisha Saigal. What's that today? How to
The show that sets the prime time agenda.
We'll be deep diving into this topic to tell you what's at stake.
Join me, Raisha Saigal, on Prime 5 only on NDTV 24/7.
ये लीजिए भाई, मैंने बनाया है व्हाट्सएप आपके साथ, खाइए ना। ऐसे आप कहाँ से हैं? हरियाणा। कब गए थे लास्ट वहाँ पे? 1.5 महीने पे। आपकी फैमिली है? बच्चे हैं? 3 साल। मिस करते होंगे आप उन्हें ना? बहुत। फैमिली विजिट करने अलाउड है? श्रीनगर तक अलाउड। 1 हफ्ते की शूटिंग के बाद मुझे घर की याद आ जाती है। सी द सैक्रिफाइस इज अनबिलीवेबल, यू नो।
From the newsroom to the studio to the thick of political action.
You're watching NDTV 24x7. The hope is that beyond this election, this will be one of the major issues. With multiple challengers in the fray, the TMC also has done a bit of rejig. Remember, this is also a district that has been plagued by communal violence. Come to some of the sabhas that the BJP is also organizing, especially in the villages of West Bengal.
When stories have impact,
Padmaja Joshi, managing editor and prime time anchor.
then news has influence. The buck stops here with Padmaja Joshi.
Your work is being watched by people. You think that you're making an impact in this time. I think that's really a huge validation, very rewarding, and I'm pretty certain that Team NDTV will go from strength to strength.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
The gift city in Gujarat stands at the heart of India's global ambition and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision to connect India's growth with global capital. How far has the idea progressed and what remains to be done? Finance and policy leaders weigh the challenges and map the road ahead. HSBC, a pioneer at Gift City, and NDTV present Global Connect, only on NDTV. Celebrating excellence across journalism and innovation, NDTV steals the spotlight at the 12th BCS Ratna Awards 2025-26. Best English News Channel of the Year, NDTV 24x7. Best News App of the Year, NDTV. Best Election Coverage of the Year, West Bengal Election Coverage.
Welcome back. Thanks very much for staying here with us. You're watching NDTV 24/7 with me, Raisha Sehgal. There's lots more lined up for you on the show, but first, the headlines. RSS chief's big Gen Z outreach in Mumbai. Mohan Bhagwat interacts with over 2,000 students, says protesting doesn't make Gen Z anti-national.
Today I learned the expression from you of what I am saying like this.
सर्वस आप करिए साथ में करते क्लॉक इट.
Government cracks the whip on Meta, asks the tech platform to remove objectionable content in 3 hours, forms strict norms for social media platforms, and warns failure to compliance will result in losing safe harbor. Former Tehelka editor Tarun Tejpal has been sentenced to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment in the 2013 Goa rape case. The Bombay High Court had overturned his acquittal, and Tejpal is set to challenge the verdict in the Supreme Court. Modi government builds consensus on delimitation bill. Sources tell NDTV that the centre has reached out to the INDIA bloc allies. Talks on with Congress, SP and NCP. Minister Kiran Rijiju urges Rahul Gandhi to back the bill. Amid growing buzz over possible political entry, actor Dhanushri ignites language war in Tamil Nadu, stressing that one's mother tongue should come before everything else. He said not knowing Tamil is an insult, urged people to learn Tamil.
Education and
And we have some breaking news coming in for you. The FCRA outreach meeting has ended while the Christian community demands a withdrawal of the bill. The government, according to sources, has made it clear that there will not be any amendments to the bill, which it plans to table on August 12th. Furthermore, sources are telling us that the government will also seek passage of the existing bill in its current form. And the government has said that the FCRA bill it will be tabled without any kind of amendments. And this will be tabled on August 12th. It will center around bringing in transparency to the funds that India receives. My colleague Akhilesh has more.
Well, the argument given by the Christian organizations was that this bill should not be implemented with the retrospective effect, on which the government sources have told them very clearly that there's no provision in the current form of the bill that the implementation will be done with the retrospective effect. This is what government has told the Christian organizations very clearly, to which some of them are very satisfied, but some are objecting to some clauses of the bill. They are saying that either this bill should be withdrawn completely or it should be referred to a joint parliamentary committee. But the government sources have told NDTV that the government has no proposal as of now to bring any amendment in the current form of the bill. They are saying that this bill was introduced in March this year in the Lok Sabha, and the government would try to get this bill passed next week, most likely the 12th of August. They are also saying that this bill was first moved by the UPA government, where Sonia Gandhi was the key figure as far as the UPA government was concerned. So there's no question of the Christian organizations opposing this bill in its current form. They are also saying that last year the foreign donation received to various Indian organizations was up to tune of 18,000 crore rupees, out of which only 3,000 crore rupees was given to the Christian organizations. So not a lot of amount was given to them. So they should not be worried about that the government is targeting them. There is no such thing that the government has any intention to target any particular religious group.
Moving on in other news, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has reached out to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, saying that dissent is not anti-national and protests are a part of democracy. He said that the youth seeks logical answers and dialogue and help build consensus as well. Gen Z's clock it gesture by Mohan Bhagwat during the interaction has also gone viral now.
Today I learned the expression from you of what I am saying like this.
सर बस आप करिए साथ में करते क्लॉक इट.
Bhagwat also touched upon key social issues, asserting that reservation should remain a tool for upliftment and inclusion as well. He also said that the LGBTQ+ community is a part of a society and spoke about the importance of recognizing women as equal partners in nation building.
सोशल कारणों से रिजर्वेशन है, सोशल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जब तक है रिजर्वेशन चलेगा. जिनको मिल गया और जिनका ठीक हो गया उनको उतना लार्ज हार्टेड चाहिए, उन्होंने दे देना चाहिए. तो देयर इज ए स्ट्रीम इन दोज हु गेट द रिजर्वेशंस दैट दिस इज फॉर आवर अपलिफ्टमेंट, दिस इज नॉट द परमानेंट मेजर, एंड वी हैव टू टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ दिस, improve ourselves and make this useful for others, those who have got here. The existing system, if we disturb, and new systems we don't have, that will create a conflict. Secondly, we cannot mix these things. We have to prepare the society first, because laws don't dictate society. Society dictates the laws. And at this stage, if we tamper with the Vivaha system, that will create some other side effects. So instead of that, prepare a system which can accommodate all these people. They are part of the society. In all the organizations that Swayamsevaks are running, women are shouldering responsibilities with men in equal capacities. Except RSS, there is a reason. When RSS started, if we had started the organization in women also, we wouldn't have thrived. But in apex body of RSS, Akhil Bharatiya Pratin Sabha, all the women working in the public field, they are also invited in the process of decision making. They are there for full 3 days.
Right, so that was the RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat's speech with at least 2,000 Gen Zs in Mumbai today, where he spoke about how women are equal partners, and he also said that he trusts this generation, the Gen Z, the most. He said the reservation is also not permanent, and in a gesture that has of course gone viral right now, he used clock it with his hands, the gesture that he made with another Gen Z who was interviewing him. This was of course an outreach by the RSS towards the Gen Z, which which perhaps is an extremely crucial part of the society right now. They will be the largest voting bloc in 2029. But we have some more breaking news coming in for you at this point of time. This is regarding Rahul Gandhi, who's reached out to Ranchi protesters. Rahul speaks to protesters over phone. It's a 10-minute call with Ranchi protesters. After breaking his silence, he dialed the students. Remember, today, the Chief Minister also said that he will speak with the students who are protesting for the past 13 days. But the big news coming in is that LOP Rahul Gandhi has now broken his silence and has reached out to the Ranchi student protesters.
झारखंड के स्टूडेंट्स अपने हक के लिए प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, प्लीज़ उनको सपोर्ट करें। देखिए, स्टूडेंट प्रोटेस्ट जो देश में हो रही है, एजुकेशन सिस्टम के खिलाफ हो रही है। मैंने साफ कहा है, देहरादून में कहा है, कोटा में कहा है और इलाहाबाद में जाकर कहने वाला हूँ, हमारा एजुकेशन सिस्टम कोलैप्स्ड है, बहुत महंगा है और ऑप्रेसिव है। हर सरकार को स्टूडेंट्स की बात सुननी चाहिए और एजुकेशन सिस्टम को बदलने के लिए एक्शन लेना चाहिए, चाहे वो कांग्रेस की सरकार हो, नेशनल सरकार हो या झारखंड की सरकार हो।
Prabhakar is joining me live on the phone line. Prabhakar, there were huge question marks on the silence of LOP Rahul Gandhi, who was so vocal regarding the Jantar Mantar protest. But right now he's given that statement on Instagram, I believe, and he says that the fault is on the education system of India. Tell us more.
See, the irony is that Rahul Gandhi is supposed to be the coalition partner here in Jharkhand, and is the coalition which is actually under the fire as far as this entire protest is concerned. The JMM and the Congress party is being targeted by students who are agitating out here.
In touch with my colleague Prabhakar in moments from now. There's some technical glitch on that side, but what you just heard is that Rahul Gandhi has finally broken out his silence and he's given out that message to the student protesters of Ranchi. This of course comes up, the BJP of course questioned Rahul Gandhi's silence because he was so vocal when it comes to the student protest that was going on here in Jantar Mantar, but an absolute pin drop silence on the protests going on in Jharkhand in the last 13 days. In other big news, the Bombay High Court has sentenced Tarun Tejpal to 10 years rigorous imprisonment and a fine of 5 lakh rupees in the 2013 rape case. Earlier today, the High Court convicted him for raping a junior colleague in 2013 when she worked under him at Tehelka magazine. Tejpal has said that he will approach the High Court and call the conviction politically motivated. And he said this is some kind of political vendetta against him. He said that he is being framed in false case. He even drew parallel with Umar Khalid and said he is being treated like them. Tejpal has been charged with rape by a person in a position of authority and assault with the intent to disrobe the victim. A woman journalist had accused Tejpal of sexually assaulting her in a hotel elevator on November 7th and November 8th, 2013 at the Goa Think Fest. Mother of the survivor has welcomed the verdict and said that it has lifted a heavy weight from her heart.
We are very disappointed. We believe the evidence in the case has not been appreciated. We believe there is enough evidence to very, very clearly exonerate me, not twice, but 10 times over. मैंने जज को बोला, आप लोग जो कोर्ट में थे आपने सुना होगा, मैंने बोला मैं एक पॉलिटिकल विक्टिम हूँ, मेरे को तहलका की पत्रकारिता है, उसके चलते हुए मेरे को पीछे 13 साल से सरकार पड़ी है और मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ इसमें, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो सरकार की नीतियों से या मानते नहीं या वाकिफ नहीं है ज्यादा, उन लोगों की भी सरकार पड़ जाती है। इस टाइप की सरकार है, हमारी सरकार है, आपकी भी है, मेरी भी है। तो ये पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड है, कह रहे हैं आप? 100%। हम लोग अभी इसको अपील करेंगे, ठीक है ना? हम लोग बिल्कुल नाखुश हैं इस जजमेंट से। हमें लगता है कि बेंच ने हमारा जो अप्रिशिएट नहीं किया है, तो हम लोग उसको अपील कर देंगे, आपको बताते रहेंगे कि 3 होगा तब 3 होगा, वो तो टाइम बताएगा ना, अब एडवांस में कैसे हम बता देंगे? 13 साल 4 उन लोगों की सरकार पड़ जाती है, इस टाइप की सरकार है, हमारी सरकार है, आपकी भी है, मेरी भी है। 2 मिनट के लिए मोटिवेटेड है, कह रहा है, तो सरकार आपको बता देगी, बताता रहेगा।
Mr. Sawant, thank you very much for joining us here on NDTV. Your first reaction, I remember as a reporter in 2013 covering this case, and it has taken 13 years. It is Goa police and the prosecution that the family is thanking for their relentless pursuit in this case. Your first reaction, please.
ये तो न्याय की जीत है। सबसे पहले मैं मेरे डायरेक्टर ऑफ प्रोसिक्यूशंस और पुलिस फोर्स इनको कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करूंगा। दे आर कंटिन्यूअसली फॉलो अप दिस केस एंड दे गॉट मैंने उनको न्याय मिला, इसलिए मैं वो कहूंगा कि ये न्याय की जीत है। मैं वो युवती का साहस और दृढ़ता इसको भी नमन करता हूँ। कंटिन्यूअसली फॉर लास्ट 13 इयर्स वो हिम्मत से डटी रही और आज उस युवती को न्याय मिला। सही में ये अपराध तो हमारी गोवा की धरती पे हुआ था, इसलिए ये गोवा सरकार का यानी हमारी पहले डेफिनेटली हमारी ये रही कि गोवा पुलिस और डीओपी उसको न्याय दे। इसीलिए हमने यानी नीचे की कोर्ट में उसको राहत मिली थी, फिर भी वी हैव चैलेंज दिस केस इन द हाई कोर्ट और आज टुडे द हाई कोर्ट हैज गिवन द कन्विक्शन फॉर द तरुण तेजपाल। दिस इज रियली द विक्ट्री of the government also and victory of in this case.
Well, we have some more reaction lined up for you on this very story. Take a look.
Yeah. See, the judgment has still not been uploaded. So once we go through the judgment and find the reasons, we will be able to comment on how it is. So he's been convicted for all the offences that he was charged for, and he has been sentenced to 10 years rigorous imprisonment and a fine of 5 lakhs. That is the maximum, that because it has to be done concurrently.
In other news, the government has turned up the heat on Meta in the second round of high-level talks over online safety and platform accountability. The government sources tell NDTV that Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav pressed Meta on algorithmic practices, deepfakes, paid content and compliance with Indian laws. Meta sources say admitted it cannot completely prevent illegal content while assuring the government that it is working on stronger safeguards and continuous improvements. The centre has also made it extremely clear that non-compliance with the IT Act could put Meta's safe harbour protection at a huge risk. In other news, for decades, Tamil Nadu's Dravidian political tradition has kept overt religious symbolism away from official government events. But the first budget session of the TVK government has reopened that debate. Finance Minister N. Mari Wilson walked into the assembly carrying a rosary before presenting the state budget, saying that it reflected his personal faith. A day later, Agriculture Minister R. Vinod offered prayers at Tirumala before presenting the agriculture budget. Both have maintained that these were personal acts of faith, but coming during two of the state's most important constitutional exercises. Well, the optics there have, of course, sparked a wider political conversation. Is this simply about personal belief, or does it point to a changing political culture in Tamil Nadu?
You have made it clear you are not opposing his belief, but you are questioning the left parties, especially MP Su Venkatesan, why he is not criticizing this, but Agri Minister carrying a budget draft inside Tirupati temple. So what's your view on this, ma'am?
So first of all, again I reiterate, as you said, I am not against the Finance Minister carrying the rosary or the statue of the Lord. But I am asking, the same sentiments should be respected when it is followed by Hindus. When Hindus are following their sentiments, they are subjected as, they are stamped as branded people who are practicing divisive politics. The same thing is practiced by other religious people. You take it as their sentiments. Their sentiments should be respected. But why Hindu sentiments are not respected? I am asking the MP, Su Venkatesan, if you would have kept quiet when the copy of the budget was submitted at Tirumala, we also would have kept quiet now. But when it comes to Hindu sentiments, it is branded as they are against the secularism. But when it is practiced by other religious leaders, it is taken as a secular feeling. They have to respect their sentiments. So why feeling of these sentiments of Hindus are crushed? That is my question.
Soundararajan, if I could really butt in, this is Deepak here. I would like to ask you,
the Sengol was installed in, the parliament of the country. And, isn't that a religious symbol, many would question? Because here is a minister who didn't come there and, make any sort of religious sermon. He was not holding up, the rosary for everyone to see. It was just there along with the copy that he was holding. Why has that become a bone of contention is what many of them are asking, when the Sengol can be placed inside the parliament of the country?
The Sengol was not installed because it is a religious symbol. It is the symbol of democracy. It is a symbol of good governance. And nobody is against the sentiments of other religion. But our question is when our sentiments are questioned and when we are stamped as people who are against the secular, when we follow our sentiments, then only we are asking. I am asking the same leaders who always
connected to the Hindu religion, isn't it? No, the Sengol is connected to the Hindu religion, isn't it, Ms. Rajan? It is connected.
Yeah,
so
that also DMK.
That point in time is no question.
No, that also
where
DMK.
Is this stark comparison coming in?
No, Congress, DMK opposed that. They too, even though they belong to Tamil Nadu, we are not installing only as religious symbol. It is a symbol of good governance. Okay, because the Hindu rulers were ruling Tamil Nadu, but the same communists, same Congress, they oppose this inside the parliament.
Well, the row of the Tamil anthem in Tamil Nadu has escalated, with 21 INDIA bloc MPs writing to the Governor Congress, and VCK MPs have urged the Governor to restore the established protocol of beginning government and university events with the Tamil state anthem. Well, a total of 21 MPs have written to the Governor over the anthem. Congress MP Karthi Chidambaram says that the state protocol clearly mandates that official functions commence with Tamiz Thai Vastu, and has also now demanded that the convention should be strictly followed.
Protocol in Tamil Nadu is that all government functions start with Tamil Thai Vastu. We want that protocol to be adhered to. While we respect the national anthem and Vande Mataram, the national song, the precedence must be given to Tamil Thai Vastu in all government functions. That is how it has always been done, and we have reiterated that and requested the Governor to follow that protocol.
Tamil Thai Vastu, there is you call it Tamil anthem. No, it is in fact, it has been pushed to the third position actually. Any function, we should start with the Tamil Thai Vastu in Tamil Nadu. But right now, it is as per the governor's thing and central government's directive. It is like the first will be Vande Mataram, second will be the national anthem, and third will be the Tamil Thai Vastu, which is totally goes against the sentiments of Tamil people in Tamil Nadu. And in fact, we have issued a statement, asking them to considering the sentiments of Tamil Nadu. We mean, as per the Tamil Thai Vastu should be given its due respect, and I hope the government listens to this and probably gives the due importance to.
On that note, we're slipping into a very short break. Come right back. Lots of lined up.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig, until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
When others are warming up, I'm raring to go. The stories that matter, the stories that shape your life.
Hello and welcome to watching Prime 5 with me, Raisha Saigal. What's happening? How to
The show that sets the prime time agenda.
We'll be deep diving into this topic to tell you what's at stake.
Join me, Raisha Saigal, on Prime 5, only on NDTV 24x7.
ये लीजिए भाई, मैंने बनाया है बेडशीट आपके साथ, खाइए ना। ऐसे आप कहाँ से हैं? हरियाणा। कब गए थे लास्ट वहाँ पे? 1.5 महीने पे। आपकी फैमिली है? बच्चे हैं? 3 साल। मिस करते होंगे आप उन्हें ना? बहुत। फैमिली विजिट करने अलाउड है? श्रीनगर तक अलाउड। 1 हफ्ते की शूटिंग के बाद मुझे घर की याद आ जाए।
Well, 3 years after Imran Khan was jailed, Pakistan's political battle is once again spilling onto the streets. PTI has announced a march to Islamabad that has triggered a massive security response, with protests being met by crackdown and detentions. But the unrest is not limited to the capital. From Islamabad to Balochistan, from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir to the Afghanistan border, the challenges are piling up simultaneously. Our next report telling you more.
By one, they are unfolding all together. 3 years after Imran Khan's imprisonment, his party has threatened a march on Islamabad unless he is released. The announcement has reignited political tensions and brought thousands of protesters onto the streets. The state's response has been swift and uncompromising. Islamabad and Rawalpindi have been turned into security fortresses. Section 144 is in force. Roads have been sealed with containers, tear gas has been fired, and hundreds of PTI workers have been detained. But Pakistan's political crisis is now attracting attention far beyond its borders. Amnesty International has accused Pakistani authorities of denying Imran Khan a fair trial, restricting family visits, limiting access to lawyers, and raising concerns over his prison conditions. This scrutiny is no longer confined to Pakistan's borders. International rights groups continue to criticize Islamabad's human rights record. And even as the government battles political unrest in its heartland, fresh flashpoints are erupting on its periphery. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir remains on edge, with protests over inflation and allegations of electoral manipulation. In Balochistan, the movement is gathering momentum, as rights groups continue to accuse the state of enforced disappearances and excessive use of force. As the unrest deepens, Pakistan is tightening its grip on information. New restrictions have curtailed the movement of foreign journalists, while press freedom groups have condemned internet shutdowns. And an escalating crackdown on independent reporting, Islamabad wants to control the narrative by controlling the information. The pressure doesn't end at home and spreads across its western borders. Pakistan remains locked in a dangerous confrontation with Afghanistan. Cross-border strikes, retaliatory attacks, and persistent violence continue to stretch it militarily, forcing it to confront an external conflict even as internal instability grows. And now cracks are appearing within the government itself. The ruling coalition is under pressure, with the Pakistan People's Party accusing Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's PMLN of manipulating elections in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Political unrest, regional uprisings, media curbs, international criticism, a volatile border, and coalition infighting. Pakistan is confronting multiple crises at once. And is this the beginning of the end for Islamabad? Bureau Report, NDTV World.
And with that, please slip into a very short break. Come right back. News updates continues here on NDTV 27. Good night.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
When others are warming up, I'm raring to go. The stories that matter, the stories that shape your life.
Hello and welcome to watching Prime 5 with me, Raisha Saigal. What's happening? How to
The show that sets the prime time agenda.
We'll be deep diving into this topic to tell you what's at stake.
Join me, Raisha Saigal, on Prime 5 only on NDTV 24/7.
ये लीजिए भाई, मैंने बनाया है। बैठ सकता आपके साथ, खाइए ना। ऐसे आप कहाँ से हैं? हरियाणा। कब गए थे लास्ट वहाँ पे? 1.5 महीने पे। आपकी फैमिली है और बच्चे हैं? 3 साल। मिस करते होंगे आप उन्हें ना? बहुत। फैमिली विजिट करने अलाउड है? श्रीनगर तक अलाउड। 1 हफ्ते की शूटिंग के बाद मुझे घर की याद आ जाती है। सी द सैक्रिफाइस इज अनबिलीवेबल, यू नो।
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break.
Welcome back. Thanks very much for staying here with us. You are watching NDTV 24x7 with me, Raisha Sehgal. There's lots more lined up for you on the show, but first, the headlines. RSS chief's big Gen Z outreach in Mumbai. Mohan Bhagwat interacts with over 2,000 students, says protesting doesn't make Gen Z anti-national.
Today I learned the expression from you of what I am saying like this.
सर्वस आप करिए साथ में करते क्लॉक इट.
Government cracks the whip on Meta, asks the tech platform to remove objectionable content in 3 hours, forms strict norms for social media platforms, and warns failure to compliance will result in losing safe harbor. Former Tehelka editor Tarun Tejpal has been sentenced to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment in the 2013 Goa rape case. The Bombay High Court had overturned his acquittal, and Tejpal is set to challenge the verdict in the Supreme Court. Modi government builds consensus on delimitation bill. Sources tell NDTV that the centre has reached out to the INDIA bloc allies. Talks on with Congress, SP and NCP. Minister Kiran Rijiju urges Rahul Gandhi to back the bill. Amid growing buzz over possible political entry, actor Dhanush reignites language war in Tamil Nadu, stressing that one's mother tongue should come before everything else. He said not knowing Tamil is an insult, urged people to learn Tamil.
Education and
And we have some breaking news coming in for you. The FCRA outreach meeting has ended while the Christian community demands a withdrawal of the bill. The government, according to sources, has made it clear that there will not be any amendments to the bill, which it plans to table on August 12th. Furthermore, sources are telling us that the government will also seek passage of the existing bill in its current form. And the governor said that the FCRA bill it will be tabled without any kind of amendments, and this will be tabled on August 12th. It will center around bringing in transparency to the funds that India receives. My colleague Akhilesh has more.
Well, the argument given by the Christian organizations was that this bill should not be implemented with the retrospective effect, on which the government sources have told them very clearly that there's no provision in the current form of the bill that the implementation will be done with the retrospective effect. This is what government has told the Christian organizations very clearly, to which some of them are very satisfied, but some are objecting to some clauses of the bill. They are saying that either this bill should be withdrawn completely or it should be referred to a joint parliamentary committee. But the government sources have told NDTV that the government has no proposal as of now to bring any amendment in the current form of the bill. They are saying that this bill was introduced in March this year in the Lok Sabha, and the government would try to get this bill passed next week, most likely the 12th of August. They are also saying that this bill was first moved by the UPA government, where Sonia Gandhi was the key figure as far as the UPA government was concerned. So there's no question of, the Christian organizations opposing this bill in its current form. They are also saying that last year, the foreign donation received to various Indian organizations was up to tune of 18,000 crore rupees, out of which only 3,000 crore rupees was given to the Christian organizations. So not a lot of amount was given to them. So they should not be worried about that the government is targeting them. There is no such thing that the government has any intention to target any particular religious group.
Moving on in other news, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has reached out to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, saying that dissent is not anti-national and protests are a part of democracy. He said that the youth seeks logical answers and dialogue and help build consensus as well. Gen Z's clock it gesture by Mohan Bhagwat during the interaction has also gone viral now.
Today I learned the expression from you of what I am saying like this.
सर्वस आप करिए साथ में करते क्लॉक इट.
Bhagwat also touched upon key social issues, asserting that reservation should remain a tool for upliftment and inclusion as well. He also said that the LGBTQ+ community is a part of a society and spoke about the importance of recognizing women as equal partners in nation building.
सोशल कारणों से रिजर्वेशन है, सोशल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जब तक है रिजर्वेशन चलेगा. जिनको मिल गया और जिनका ठीक हो गया उनको उतना लार्ज हार्टेड चाहिए, उन्होंने दे देना चाहिए. तो देयर इज ए स्ट्रीम इन दोज हु गेट द रिजर्वेशंस दैट दिस इज फॉर आवर अपलिफ्टमेंट, दिस इज नॉट द परमानेंट मेजर एंड वी हैव टू टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ दिस, improve ourselves and make this useful for others, those who have got here. The existing system, if we disturb, and new systems we don't have, that will create a conflict. Secondly, we cannot mix these things. We have to prepare the society first. Because laws don't dictate society. Society dictates the laws. And at this stage, if we tamper with the Vivaha system, that will create some other side effects. So instead of that, prepare a system which can accommodate all these people. They are part of the society. In all the organizations that Swayamsevaks are running, women are shouldering responsibilities with men in equal capacities. Except RSS, there is a reason. When RSS started, if we had started the organization in women also, we wouldn't have thrived. But in apex body of RSS, Akhil Bharatiya Pratin Sabha, all the women working in the public field, they are also invited in the process of decision making. They are there for full 3 days.
Right, so that was the RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat's speech with at least 2,000 Gen Zs in Mumbai today, where he spoke about how women are equal partners, and he also said that he trusts this generation, the Gen Z, the most. He said the reservation is also not permanent, and in a gesture that has of course gone viral right now, he used clock it with his hands, the gesture that he made with another Gen Z who was interviewing him. This was of course an outreach by the RSS towards the Gen Z, which perhaps is an extremely crucial part of the society right now. They will be the largest voting bloc in 2029. But we have some more breaking news coming in for you at this point of time. This is regarding Rahul Gandhi, who's reached out to Ranchi protesters. Rahul speaks to protesters over phone. It's a 10-minute call with Ranchi protesters. After breaking his silence, he dialed the students. Remember, today, the Chief Minister also said that he will speak